Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It is July. It is Qualifier race number 1. My name is Matt Payne. This is the gravelly version of the Matt Payne commentary. Over on the other side of the silky smooth tones of Emma Martin once again, as we bring you all of the race action. We've had an absolutely packed week on commentary, and it's been really busy with the preparations for this as well. It has to be said, we've come in, as the phrase goes, hot. So do make sure you follow at Emma, at biking_Emma, to find out exactly just why we came in hot this morning.
Well, let me tell you, the women are heading to California. It is hot out there. 35 kilometers of racing today, 500 meters of climbing, and a lot of that comes towards the end on this course today. They come out of the start pen, through the downtown LA sprint, through area 52, on towards the Golden Gate, and that is a long, slow drag up there, into the Hawk Hills, which is the first of two climbs today that are categorized in this race. 1.1 kilometers, 4.8% average gradient. The checkered flag at the top, the polka dot banner coming 500 meters before the finish of climbing to finish the race today.
It's on that side.
Elena Lopez, Katerina Coe, Catherine Tompkinson, Kristen Hamilton, and Shiku Fu coming down into Cat 5 from Category 4. So it is all move. Isabella Giraldo took third place in the final last week. She's here. Natalia Idzik took fifth. She's in the mix. Jaskalainen is right in the middle of that group with Nikki Lloyd, Amy Sudabayo, and Tejeros at the moment.
So just going to do a quick recap if you are just joining us here on the MyWhoosh YouTube stream. This is Qualifier race number 1. We're into California. Category 6 riders up and racing out from the start pens. They're on their way through. They're heading towards that downtown LA sprint and then on to area 52. These are our Category 5 riders, and as Emma has just said, they're up and away. Yes, apologies if my voice is a little bit gravelly today, but after doing about 18 hours live in 3 days and I think I had less sleep than I was on the microphone for. Yeah, funnily enough, my voice has gone. It might have also been something to do with all the talking to the MyWhoosh riders and their families that were there. It was great.
Did you meet people?
I did.
Did you meet any of our riders from the women's race today?
I did indeed meet some riders from the women's race. We'll talk about them in a moment.
Okay.
I met a number of people, and I met the partners.
It's fabulous, though, isn't it? When you actually do meet people,
not just at the side of the barriers or on the course, but actually podium riders winning races and being in there. So it was great to see that out there. And if in the future, if you're somewhere where we are heading, please don't hesitate to come up and say hi. But do be aware that if we have a microphone in our hand, the odds are we're actually on duty. We're not going to be able to talk very much. We can do wave and sign language to people, but we really will struggle to talk to you until we're off duty, or if there's both Emma and I are at the same event, which does happen. I think potentially Sheffield Grand Prix.
I met Ross Fawcett last year.
Did you?
I think it was Beverly Crit. He was racing. I was on mic duty, and actually I was on VIP duty at that point in time, bringing some VIPs over for presentations.
Well, don't get more important than my whooshers.
But I felt like apologising to Ross because I didn't have the time to talk to him, and I felt really bad. But it was fabulous that he said, "Hello, my name's Ross Fawcett. You're Emma, aren't you?"
Yeah.
And I went, "Yes, I am, but I can't talk to you right now. Are you hanging around?" But if you are, please do come and say hello, because it's just fabulous to meet people in person.
Okay, let's see. I'm not sure we'll see Jessica Hamilton at some of the races we're doing, but you never know, she might be heading across to one of those. Well, I tell you what, she'd be in a green
jersey because she can sprint.
Yes, but Jessica, if you do ever go to an event we're at, please do wear a green jersey, just so that we instantly recognise you, because Jessica Hamilton, of course, the absolute, the empress of sprinting
in
when it comes to Category 6.
So can I just tell you, Claudia Gentili has absolutely just given her a run for her money in that sprint competition through the downtown LA sprint. Jessica Hamilton pushing 7.1 watts per kilo average, phenomenal as normal, but Gentili just didn't get her timing right because she's pushed stronger at 7.8 watts per kilo. But it is a matter of understanding the draft and moving from the back of the group to the front of the group, and utilising pace into the sprint as well as during the sprint. And Hamilton absolutely is just textbook.
So Hamilton with 5 points, Chantilly with 4. We have then the riders behind scoring 3, 2, and 1 points. Last point scorer, Veronica Arias. The rider taking those with not a single point. But of course, the points added together now. There are 3 sprints on the way through today. So maximum possible score is 15 points. That is not always possible. And even Hamilton being beaten in those sprints. And I think that actually happened last week in our finals. Now, in category 5, you can just see that the riders on the way, they're at 2.1 kilometers covered. The sprint comes at 2.9 kilometers, 2.9 to 3.1k, the sprint distance.
It's a strong pace on that category 5 group. You know, they really are motoring before the category 4 riders leave the start pen.
So let's take a look at our category 4 riders, the teams, the riders that are in here. Kawazuska, that's Isabella Kawazuska here representing the Blitz Babes and our pedal queens, Louisa Schultz and Tanya Howeiler, joined by a big pack of riders. Emily Soper's joining the riders as well, and good to see her in the mix after a great result last week.
Yeah, it is really good to see her in the mix, and there were some fabulous results last week. Keely Bennett took first place in category 4. Gina De Grazia, I'll tell you, those two went head to head right to the line. De Grazia taking second. Rosalina Barragan is here. She took 5th place. Lots of riders coming up from category 5. Amy Loxley, Angie Gavaria coming up. Daniela Giraldo coming up. Ella Vink, Gabriella Marshall, Isabella Restrepo, and I tell you something, having watched those performances in category 5, I'm really looking forward to seeing them race in category 4. They are strong riders, regularly putting in great performances. They really deserve the progression, and it is going to be great to see them mixing here. Van Rossum is here. Sopers is here. She took a strong ride last week as well. Philippa Hill. So the riders in this group, they've rolled out of the start pen. They're 200 metres into this course, and they are just shy of 40 kilometres an hour already, getting up to speed very, very quickly. As I said, this is our largest race field today, 34 riders on the start sheets. In fact, you know what? This is one of our biggest fields in the women's race this year. Only 2 qualifiers this year have been larger than the race field today.
And it shows you the multinational, global riding competitive field that we have. Because in the Northern Hemisphere, many of the, particularly the European nations, you see a drop off in the numbers of people riding indoors as the weather gets better, making the most when they do get the sunshine of that weather. And obviously the same when you go to the Southern Hemisphere. For them, it's winter, so we see a pickup in there. But being global, and of course with the development of cycling esports, we are seeing riders riding all year round.
Well,
and of course, it's also about staying out of the heat. So if you're in the, if you're somewhere near the equator, it's an absolute blast all the way through.
It's been so hot in France this week. I have been on the turbo all week in a room with air conditioning. It has been far too hot. It's been just shy of 40 degrees here, and just too hot to ride outside. Well, for me. And so I've been riding indoors, and I'm sure a lot of our other riders are. The other reasons, though, Matt, let's not forget, this is July. What's coming up in August? The MyWhoosh Championships.
It is indeed.
And I'll tell you something, also what is coming up is the qualifiers for the World Championships as well. And there'll be a lot of riders targeting both. And those riders coming into the Sunday Race Club.
And I think as we move closer into those championships, we've got the championships coming to you. And we're going to be bringing you the qualifiers. They're all going to be on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. So please do make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click that button on the YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe here and get notified every time we go live. And it's not just, of course, with the live racing, but MyWhoosh with lots of great insights, lots of behind the scenes going on, lots of great updates in terms of what's happening with MyWhoosh as well. So to get notified, make sure you subscribe on there, tick those notifications, and then you will find out exactly what's happening and where. And of course, be notified when we go live. We will be bringing you all of that race action. Really looking forward to seeing the championships. It's 2 years, well, it's over 2 years now since the championships took place last. It's
brilliant.
$1 million prize fund, and with those stages, 7 stages across 8 days, it's a fantastic format, and they're long. They are big stages. It's a long race in totality, and that means that you really do need to be on form. But with that massive prize fund and with it spread across the race field, it's really going to make a difference.
Well, the women's Giro starts
Giro d'Italia.
What's the date today? It is the. Is it? I can't read the date on my watch. That is so bad.
It's the 6th.
It's the 6th of July, isn't it? It starts today.
Mm-hmm.
Till the 13th. And then later this month, at the end of the month, the Tour de France Femme starts as well.
It doesn't.
It is Women's Stage Racing Month. 2 big stage races starting this month for the women. And then next month, big stage race for the women. MyWhoosh Championships.
Indeed. Indeed, and it is for all categories, 6 categories. So I don't think it's just for our elite riders. There's a prize fund that is spread between our 6 race categories, across the sprints, across the stages, and across the overall climbs and the overall competition, the GC. So do make sure you jump on board. What better time to get in some riding, some training? Come and join our Category 3 riders now. The team that are at the top of your screens at the moment, Crank the Cake, are here. Patty Keinberger along with Lee Sophie Rammer and the one and only Holly Bergin. Now, as she met the Queen of Yorkshire in
Yorkshire?
In Yorkshire, on top of a car park.
That sounds dubious.
It was on the top floor of a car park on a set of deck chairs, randomly, that we actually met. It was at a bike race, I hasten to add, and I was working and Holly was spectating. So good to see her there. The other teams with us, the Sunday Sweat team and the team Golden Light, with Golden Light representing them. Sunday Sweat represented by Katarzyna Velner. But we've also got some riders moving up and down race categories, but this is one of our more stable.
It is one of our more stable categories. It's the category Leave the Start Pen. So 33 riders on the start sheets in Category 3. The only movements are Sabrina Horner coming up from Category 4 and Stefani Sanchez dropping down from Category 2. Kim Bonilla, who took the win, is here. Angelica Altamarino, who came second. Velner took third. Nielsen took fourth. And 5th place went to Embring last week. Now, it was such a close race last week in the Wollongong finals in Category 3. The Yellow Squad taking the win with 4th, 7th and 8th position versus Sunday Sweat, who took 3rd, 5th and 10th, just 11 seconds separating both of those teams. The squad's riding really, really strongly, and a real mix of riders today. Lucy Collins is here, Manuela Vasquez, Anna Marie Lipp is here, Brittany Litton, Eva Essler, Jenny Daniels, Jen Reel, Holly Bergin, who you've mentioned, Matt. In fact, we're in with Holly Bergin at the moment. Rebecca Johnson. Now, if I remember correctly, and I am just going to check because Rebecca did message me this morning. I'm just pulling it up.
Don't hesitate to get in touch. You can get in touch with them. It's at biking_Emma and myself at Matt.
So Rebecca messaged me this morning and she sent me a lovely photo. She's on her holidays again.
Very nice.
In her camper van with Turbo. Have Turbo, will travel, will race Sunday Race Club from wherever she is. I do love it. And in fact, I think not only is she on holiday in her camper van, there she is. She's actually live streaming as well. She's in the Zoom room, and those are real mountains behind her. What can I say? But Becca Johnson is a star.
Super dedicated there. Big mountains out and riding and coming into race here as well. Brilliant to see. And if you are out and about, I would suggest if you need tips about how to set up your tech setup so you can go ride on MyWhoosh anywhere in the world. Yeah, Rebecca's clearly Rebecca is clearly a tech guru, a supremo, because she's able to be. We see this from Rebecca a number of times. Norwegian Fjords, wasn't it, last year?
Yeah. The scenery was amazing. It was like we were on holiday with her.
I don't know about this. Not a lot of room in that camper van.
Well, you know, I tell you what, the Norwegian Fjords are one of the places I've often really wanted to go, and there are not many places in the world that I haven't been to that I really want to go to, and Norway is one of them. And last year we went with Rebecca on holiday to Norway, and it was amazing. In
your head, maybe we went, but I think they probably enjoyed themselves riding and not having you talking or me talking in their ears the entire holiday.
Just on Sundays.
Just on the Sundays, on the Sunday Race Club. So, Category 3 up and moving along with Categories 4, 5 and 6. Now, as you will have doubtlessly been aware, that we have had 5-minute gaps between our groups so far, between Category 6 and Category 5. 5 minutes between Category 5 and Category 4 with their race start. And then between the race start of Category 4 and the race start of Category 3, it was 5 minutes. We now have 10 minutes between the start of Category 3 and the start of category 2, and then we go back to the 5-minute gap for 2 to 1. The riders at the moment are well spread out, and it does allow these riders to get down the road. Now, if you are new to the Sunday Race Club, I will just try and give you a little bit of an overview of what happens when these groups get on the road together. If you have heard this before, well, I'm sure you appreciate when you were new that we were trying to give you a quick explanation of how it works. So we have our riders staggered as they set off from the race pens, with category 6 going first, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. As the groups come up, the riders can jump in. So Seba Alray at the moment, if Seba catches a rider in category 6, then she's able to use their draft so she can hide behind them on the course, or they can hide behind her. Now, that might be of advantage. Seba might be working with them. They might think, oh my goodness, Seba Alray's caught us. Let's jump on board. She's a great wheel to follow as we go down the course, in which case they can jump on as well. But obviously, they've got to be capable of doing that.
But there is a reason for this, and that is that actually we are more than likely in every race to be able to show all 6 race finishes. It doesn't always work, but more often than not, we are able, with this staggered start, to show every single race finish.
And that does mean, of course, that we can do what we really love, and that is cover all of our different ability riders. It's not just about focusing on the elite. Yes, MyWhoosh provides elite level racing every single week, every single Sunday. It's not just a summer series, a winter series, a spring series. It's not just a series that runs every month. It runs every single week on a Sunday for our elite riders, but for every single rider. And we provide the same course, the same routes, the same sprints, so you get that same experience. You know what it's like to come running
And
down
you know what?
into this sprint, into the kick, which is exactly where our riders are coming now. You can just see Bridget Brebner leading this out at the moment. Scriven Solazano in here, Gentili trying to come. The time is critical. Big kick coming through. And look at this. Hamilton does it again.
Wow.
So if you want to be in there, you can just come and join, and it's the same race route. But we do get other unintended benefits, and that is you can learn from the riders coming through. If you are a category 5 rider and a category 1 rider comes past you, you can see what they're doing. That's really aspirational.
You can, but what I was going to say, just
Go on,
very quickly, is Adriana Barco. She's on our screen at the moment. Look at the size of that screen she's using. Absolutely brilliant. I bet that plays a good film, but it also plays a great Sunday Race Club. And Barco making the most of the big screen there to race today. Now, riders racing. Barco is one of the riders racing Sunday Race Club. Do you know, week in, week out at the moment, it's just shy of 500 racers every Sunday across the men's and the women's racing the Sunday Race Club.
Yeah, those numbers, fantastic to see. And do come and join us. There's always space for more riders. Now, there is lots of racing on MyWhoosh, so if you feel a little intimidated about jumping on Sunday Race Club at first, well, don't be, because everybody's really friendly and it's really good racing. But if you think, oh, I might just dip my toe into something different, there are team time trials out there. There are masters racing. There is scratch racing, sprint racing. There's loads of racing on MyWhoosh. Just go onto the MyWhoosh website. It's www.mywhoosh.com. Download the app on Android, on Windows, on iOS. Make sure you get it down. Get on board and come and race.
Lots of questions we get asked about verification. You need full verification for the Sunday Race Club. That ensures everybody is on an equal playing field, and and have that level of belief in your fellow competitor. That level of verification for the Sunday Race Club and the MyWhoosh Elite events does not apply to everything. There are first-timer events where you don't have to have that level of equipment. A heart rate strap or a heart rate monitor will suffice on top of your turbo. So there is something for everybody. Please do take a look at mywhoosh.com's events page. It really will show you what is available, from individual time trials to team time trials to elimination races to social rides.
Yep.
MyWhoosh info as well is great, particularly if you tick the future events box on the events. If you don't tick it, you get the results of all the events previously. If you tick the future events box, you get all the new events coming up.
So jump on board. I'm sure Angela and Hadlock uses the MyWhooshinfo.com page as well as the MyWhoosh page. Great casket there. So Angel riding with a cap as well. And anyone who has listened to the show will know I'm a fan of a cap, and that is a Lotto cap, I think, if I'm not much mistake. But it may well be one of her national caps because, of course, we know that Angela and Hadlock are one of our fantastic champions who comes back and races on MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club week in, week out. One day I'm going to go on to MyWhooshinfo.com and actually check just how many races Angel and Hadlock has done.
You?
Go on.
Hold on.
This is how easy it is.
Angel Hadlock.
Let's
Bear
see.
with me 1 second. I'm going to press go.
Let's see
can
what
tell you, 140 Sunday Race Club participations. 13 times she's taken first place, 13 times second, 10 times third, and 9 fourth to fifths. That is not a bad performance.
Not bad. I would be very happy if that was my career wins. Full stop in totality. So do go on to MyWhooshinfo.com for all race details, future events, as well as past events and rider stats as well. Okay, let's jump across from our riders.
Do you know when she joined the Sunday Race Club?
Right, not
2022.
Yet. Okay. Let's move on, Emma, shall we, to category 2. Emma's so absorbed in the stats. She absolutely loves them. You can tell that she is a professor. It's true. Right, let's move across to the category 2 riders. The core racing team here with Strength in Depth, Gonzalez, Royer, Hakkinen, and Kalman racing for the core squad up against the United Cadence squad of Lethbridge, Manshandy, and Denton. Don't forget, of course, though, this is a big race for them. There's been quite a bit of movement, mostly riders coming up into category 2.
Well, I'll tell you something. Lots of riders coming up, but lots of riders going up as well. So category 2, really big movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 category 2 riders moving into category 1 this month. The rest of the pack are joined by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 category 3 riders. Heather Shanks, Helen McKay, Jill Pruitt, Kate McLeod, Lorna Beltran, and Stephanie Briggs, all coming up into category 2. I think they're going to ride well and really enjoy the experience. They're joining a whole host of riders. Rhiannon Denton took 4th place last week. Serena Vittori took 5th place. Hakkinen, Kalman, Davidson, Nordin is here. Gothlander, Lennonin, Marb, Thompson, Lundin, Roach, Vittori. It is a great pack. Now, category 2 last week, and I have just given you the big news that a huge number of riders have gone up to category 1, but category 2 last week, I'm looking at my notes here because 2.4 seconds separated the top 10 riders in category 2 in the June final. And can I tell you, they were in Wollongong, which anybody who knows the Wollongong course, 2 big climbs. In the team competition, United Cadence took 1st, 4th and 9th. Versus 2nd, 10th and 13th for the Velocity Vikings. 19 seconds separated those two teams. Heather Shanks was there, and she's on our screen at the moment, tightly in the middle of that pack. But the top 4 teams in category 2 last week, 1 minute, 19 seconds separated them. Shanks is part and parcel of the closest racing group at the moment on the Sunday Race Club.
So category 2 underway. Heather Shanks in then. You can just see Heather just tapping out a nice rhythm there. 87 revs per minute. Heart rate 139 and nicely sat in the draft. The green numbers of what's the power there. Indicating
category 2 race.
It is indeed. It is indeed. She's looking good and smooth in there. Looking good basically equals looking smooth. Not looking panicked and not looking like your entire world has just disintegrated around you. So looking good is about being smooth for me. It's about getting the power down because smooth is fast. Having a stable core, tapping out a great rhythm, being able to respond. That's what we're looking for in our riders. Yes, we do also pick on people's pain caves a little bit. We pick on those people who have got great pain caves, but it's about being smooth. And one rider who is super smooth, Joanna Kalman.
Yeah.
Definitely one of our real stars, and I think really interesting to see how she goes to this part of that core squad. Proven race winner. I think that hunger is there. You can see it, and I
Well,
think for me, that's one of the things our camera always shows, as well as Matthews in the background
I know.
pulling funny faces, which is always
Well,
entertaining.
and you know what? I think it's a really interesting week. Calman will be watching and she'll be taking a look at what she can do in Category 2 because when our riders get those start sheets, and they do on a Thursday, the riders get an email with the start sheets on for the Sunday so they can see who's gone up, who's gone down, what the competition is, and who's in their competition. When you're someone like Calman and you're a strong rider in the category, and all of a sudden you go, wow, 8 riders have gone up. It
Yep.
does change your mindset a little and sort of makes you think, okay, let's see what I can do this week. And she's right at the front of this pack. She's paying close contention. She's with Denton Guerrero, Susnik, Marb, Davidson, Vittori, Nordin, Shanks. You know, they are paying close attention here and they are rolling strongly out of that start pen.
And Kalman's win was taken on the Hederiot Island, on the Hederiot Ascend course. And that's where her win was. That's a climb to finish. So it'd be interesting to see whether she can do it. But she's also got some great results on some of our big climb sections and some of those long climbs. So she's got some great results there as well. We'll see if she continues her journey. I'm sure her aspiration will be to be winning Category 1. But my goodness, when you get to Category 1, the competition gets even tougher. Ablock International are there, and some of the tough competition in that team: Kristen Kolczynski, Lisa Hermansen, Maria Holcroft, and Mary Kate McCarthy, the world champion, riding for Ablock International. For Supernova, Amelia Van Hover, Chaska Tomasi, along with Sophie Giovanni, they make up the Supernova team. The Sweat Sensation squad, well, you've got 2 of the medalists from the World Championships, Gabby Guerra and Catherine Fua, in there with a rider who really is making their mark. That is Nicole Mayer. Lizzie Brooke is here representing the Watt sisters, and that makes up just under, a fraction under half of the race field here in Category 1, our elite category. In the July qualifier, in race number 1, it's time to go racing our last race field in the women's race up and away. They have in front of them 35 kilometers. They're going to have to ascend 500 meters of climbing between themselves and the finish. Go through 3 sprints: the downtown LA sprint, the Area 52 sprint, and the Golden Gate sprint. And of course, compete in that climbs competition on the Hawk Hills climb and that final climb that finishes 500 meters before the end of our race route today. That's the Spring Road climb.
Yeah, well, Category 1 are away and 25 riders on the start sheets. Welcome back to Natalie Stevenson. She hasn't raced since the semi-finals on MyWhoosh of the World Championships last year. Her last Sunday Race Club was in August. Before that semi-finals, great to see her back on the Sunday Race Club, the Scottish rider. She's in the mix. McCarthy obviously took first, Guerra took second, Fua took third, Kolczynski took fourth, and Holdcroft took 5th place last week. One rider to note who has come up into this category recently, and I think the riders who have come up from Category 2 this week will be looking at this rider and thinking, well, you know what? If she can do it, so can I. Because Bridget Kittle came up into Category 1 3 weeks ago. In week 1, in Category 1, she came 14th, setting a 20-minute PB to do that. In week 2, she finished 11th. And in week 3, which was last week, she finished 8th, setting a 5-minute PB in that race. That is great progression and not mentally letting it worry you that you're moving into Category 1 at all. Katerina Karamani, she's the rider we're in with at the moment. She's right at the front of the group. She's one of those riders who has come up into Category 1. And I also think she's one of those riders who is going to be relishing this challenge.
And you can see there just down in the pain cave, working well and deeply embedded within the cycling scene.
Yep.
Katerina Karamani and all of the riders. Great. I know that she was down at some of the national level crits where I was, and it was great to see so many people down there. Katerina Karamani, will she make the podium today? I think it's going to be very interesting to see. It's a very tough podium to make Category 1 because you have the best riders in the world. Just to compete in Category 1 means you are riding with the best in the world. You're competing with the best in the world.
And I also think you have to, Category 2's tactics, very different to Category 1 tactics. You have to learn and you have to understand the racing.
For me, it's a bit like you see in a domestic road race scene. Most domestic road race scenes, the lower categories race from the gun. So the standard categories go from the gun. There's racing all the way through. The top level, the elite level, is more. I almost want to say cynical, but it's also, I think, clinical. Cagey, clinical. It is all about getting the win. And therefore, if you can take a rest, and I mean, let's face it, for Category 1 riders, riding at 37 kilometers an hour on a downhill stretch, this is basically a stroll out on a Sunday. This is about not expending unnecessary energy.
Well, and one of the ways our viewers can take a look at the energy our riders are expending, we're in with Gabby Guerra at the moment. You can see on the zone chart, so on the top right-hand corner of your screen, you've got a map. You've got a red line giving you the gradient, and the yellow vertical line is the rider we are in with and their position on that map and that gradient. But underneath is a zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scale. That tells you how hard the rider we are in with at the moment is working. Zone 1, recovery. Zone 2, steady state. Zone 3, Zone 4, Zone 5, Zone 6. You get the gist. So you can see Tomasi.
What's your description of Zone 6?
Eyeballs out on stalks.
Okay. Okay, that's quite good. Like that. Yeah, not going to
So currently at the moment, Francesca Tomasi, the rider we're in with at the moment, heart rate 137. You can see that in the white bar up the top. She's currently zone 1, zone 2. So very, very steady state, easy riding for Tomasi at the moment at that 3.4 watts per kilo. For a lot of our other riders, you know, maybe for me, 3.4, 3.7 watts per kilo is not zone 1, zone 2, but it is for Francesca Tomasi. Everything is relative.
Everything is indeed relative, and what you see is based on your own perspective as well. Don't forget, of course, you can, if you are watching live, jump on to the YouTube comments. We do try to keep a check on them all the way through the show. As you can appreciate, I think in front of me are 7 screens, 3 of which are split into at least 3, if not 4 different things. We don't always catch every comment, but if you've got a question, don't forget you can always jump on board there and ask as well. As Category 1 make their way in through the sprint here, you can see at the moment, this is going to be relatively easy pickings for somebody to take that sprint prize. There is a prize for the fastest in each race category going through each segment. And I think Bridget Filensky there had a bit of an easy ride. They gave that away a little bit, the rest of the riders, because they know that Filensky's got superb power.
Well, Filensky's just a brilliant sprinter.
But she hardly needed to expend any of that sprint energy. I mean, she's not the fastest rider, and she's not... In terms of race results there, in terms of categories, she went through there 13.391. That's not the fastest time. There's a 12-second time there from Sabrina Horner. She's not the most watts per kilo, again, Sabrina Horner.
But she did what she had to do.
Exactly, and that kind of is what I mean by that clinical, cynical, very, very much power conservation racing, being very efficient, using the energy you need to, and no more.
Exactly.
Thank you, Bridget, for proving my point. It doesn't happen often that I get it right.
Well, Filensky setting the fastest time in Category 1 through that very first sprint, and she slips on that green skin suit very proudly. She's a regular wearer of it. She really is class when it comes to sprinting in Category 1. Bjarhed, Kolchinsky, Alberg, McCarthy, Hermansen, Tilly Field coming up from Category 2. That, I think, is great as well. Good to see her in the mix here too. And really nice riding here. Giovanni is here, Van Hove is here. They are all in the mix and steady riding in Category 1. Category 3, well, they're at the 13.7 kilometre marker, just through the area 52 sprint, which is the second of the 3 sprints today. It was Valentina de Senya who took the points in the sprint competition this time round in Category 3. And she is in that green skin suit.
So let's bring you some sprint results from the Area 52 sprint, because we have got about half of our race categories through there. Desegna taking the top spot, 5 points for her in that Area 52 sprint. Jen Real going through in second place, Sabrina Horner in third, Brittany Litton in fourth, and Marisol Ortiz in 5th position. The rider who's got on our screen actually is Angelica Altamirano. Now, Altamirano, I think, saving her powder for the climbers here today.
She took second place in that final last week to Kim Bonilla, which I wouldn't be surprised if Kim Bonilla was right next to her. The two riders learn to race in the same room. But phenomenal riding from the under-23 rider from the Philippines. She's a great road rider, great time trialer, and regularly at the top of her sport in her country.
Top of so many disciplines. A really bright talent for the future. I think
young rider.
A young rider with lots of racing in front of her, and clearly enjoys it as well. And if you follow any of our riders on Instagram, and you follow any of the riders on that Philippines team, you will know how much team spirit and how much fun there is had by that team with each other.
We saw the women's Philippines team at the National Road Championships racing Sunday Race Club outdoors with people fanning them because they couldn't miss a Sunday Race Club, even though the national champs was on that time.
Yeah. Just immersing themselves in it, and that is a great way to do it. Fantastic to see. Now we're going to go across to our Category 1 riders. We're in with Natalie Stevenson here at the moment. So just tapping out a rhythm at the moment. Stevenson from Scotland, which is from Great Britain. You can just see they look like GBR skins.
It is.
GBR shorts there.
Yeah, they are indeed. And she was part and parcel of those semi-finals on the World Championships last year. She's back on the Sunday Race Club. I suspect because she's eyeing up those semi-finals again and a place at the table, or should I say at the stage of the World Championships this year. It'd be great to see her compete, and part and parcel of the Sunday Race Club today. Welcome back. She's not raced the Sunday Race Club since August last year. It's fabulous to have her returning into the Category 1 bunch. She could well give some of the riders here a run for their money, and it is great to see the riders dropping in and rejoining the Sunday Race Club. So Holdcroft, Karamani, Guerra, Van Shaw, Van Hove, Stevenson, Van Hooling, all lining up in Category 1. They're coming to the 6-kilometre marker on this 35-kilometre course. Category 6 are on the right-hand side of the screen. They're the first pack out of the start pen. They're at the 22.1 kilometre marker. They are coming up to the Golden Gate Sprint, and then the first of the two categorised climbs today. Look at that timing. They've just gone round the bend, and there's a sprint. Well, the Golden Gate Sprint for the leading Category 6 pack as they come through and over the Golden Gate Bridge. The push is on at the moment. It is indeed Jessica Hamilton who is in that green jersey. There you go. Flash of green on the right-hand side of the road, going from the back of the group to the front of the group, straight over the top. Jessica Hamilton showing you how it's done and the technique you need to dominate the sprints as Hamilton does in Category 6. Fabulous riding. The bunch, well, they are behind, closing the gap back down to Hamilton. Hamilton taking a breather, backing off the pace, coming back into the bunch. And you can see on that top right-hand corner, while they are about to come to the Hawk Hills climb, Melissa Scriven on our screen at the moment, the woman with the best clock in the world behind her. And there she is, little wave, thumbs up. She's right in the front of this leading pack at the 22.8 kilometre marker. It's a good-sized group of Category 6 riders in this leading group. We've got 11 riders at the moment at the front of the Category 6 race. And Melissa Scriven, she is leading the charge, the leader on the road at the moment on our screen.
And this is where it's really, really tricky, isn't it? She's got to keep herself absolutely down. Interesting to see she's in a hot chili jersey there. Sven organising those hot chili events. Some great guided rides as well. So they are great, great fun. And it's an opportunity often to ride with some absolutely top-class, professionals and ex-professionals. And it is always inspirational. If you're thinking, I fancy going for a spin, go for a ride, look out for ones where you've got some inspirational riders in there. Those pro-led events. Don't think you have to be pro to be with them. You don't. They all want to ride and just share that love of riding. And wherever you are in the world, they exist. So do make sure you go out there.
I've always found them really happy to chat.
Yes. Very, very much. Don't necessarily talk about their losses, though. maybe talk about their wins. In my experience, that's the one thing that's not yet generally.
I loved it when
good
you
topic.
won. Is a great opening line.
Yeah, I love it when you won X or Y. Not, wasn't it a shame that you didn't win this? That never goes down.
Always start positively.
I have seen people ask that question and get very short shrift. Now, Bridget Kittle, that's the rider who you can say, I am loving your journey through the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. And I'll tell you something, I think Kittle is not going to be long before we see her breaking that top three and really being in there. Definitely a challenger, I think, for the championships as she's racing it, because she's a great all-round rider as well. She's going to be challenging there, but I also think, for me, she's going to be a rider who can challenge in the World Championships.
Well, I'd love to see her in the mix. I really, really would at the World Championships, and really bring her form to play. Now, we've been on this course in California 6 times. This is the 6th time the women have raced here. Interestingly, back in March 2025 this year, the only other time we've raced here this year, the records were set. Kate McCarthy set the record on the course, 58 minutes 17 seconds in Category 1. Bridget Kittle, at that point in time, in March, was the fastest rider and set the record on the course in Category 3. 62 minutes 13 seconds. She then progressed to Category 2. She's worked her way through Category 2 and dominated there, and now she's gone into Category 1. That shows you progression is possible.
Definitely. I mean, there's no doubting she's a talented rider, but not everybody can progress. We all have a limit of where we get to, and when that happens, you still got great racing because you're in amongst your peers. You're not.
It doesn't matter which category you're in.
It's not just a given. You just need to progress, or there's no racing. For the vast majority of people, once you find your level to race at, then it's about being able to take on people and race competitively.
Oh, look at this competitive race going on here.
That was exactly what I'm thinking. That sprint was fantastic. Gonzalez Ruhr went through there, but Schneider, great to see. You could see just how hard she was working on the way through. I think Gonzalez Ruhr is the rider who took the fastest time through the area 52 sprint for Category 2.
Yeah.
But it is all going to be about where those points allocations are and who is going to take away the jersey at the end. So each sprint has its own prize, but at the end of the racing, it is about taking away the overall sprint win.
Well, it is indeed Gonzalez Ruhr who is in that green skin suit in Category 2, and she did indeed set the fastest time through the Area 52 sprint in Category 2. Claudia Hyde, Category 4, Natalia Idzik, Category 5. All of those 3 riders pretty much right at the front of the packs.
So Gonzalez Ruhr with the win in the second sprint. She was second in the first sprint. In the second sprint in the Area 52 in Category 2, Svarsten taking the 4 points for second.
Ooh.
McKay taking 3 points for third. And then you've got to scroll down quite a little way to get to Akis in second. There's a real mix of Category 4, 3, and 2 riders. And in fact, even Category 5 riders, because Natalia Idzik was third fastest through there. So real interesting. The riders going through a very similar pace on the sprint where you've got a downhill run in.
Well, this is not a downhill run.
No.
This is an uphill climb to the finish. And the polka dot banner is coming very shortly. This is a climb to the finish of the Hawk Hills climb.
So this is about getting underneath that banner.
It is indeed at the 24.7 kilometre marker into this 35 kilometre race. That is the end of the Hawk Hills climb for Rachel Kennedy. She's ridden away from the Category 6 group behind her, but they are closing in quite quickly. Stevenson, Sarasuk, Solazano, Kirchner, Limbaga, Bremner, all within close contention, but Kennedy is now clear. It's a technical descent and then a short transition before they hit the Spring Road climb. Angie Solazano, who we were in with earlier on, part and parcel of this chase group, currently in 5th position with Bridget Bremner and Kirchner and Navarez and Limbaga. That group are 7 seconds back on Stevenson and Sarasuk. Finichkorn Sarasuk, we know in Category 6 is strong when it goes uphill.
Yeah, and for me, the key thing here is to go over the top hard because it goes into a very steep descent. The more momentum you can carry in, the better, because it's not very long. It's a short descent but steep. So It really is. The amount of gain you can get
Wow.
is exponentially bigger on this because you've just got to hit it hard going over the top. But you've got to be in the right position. And as we go on to the climb at the moment, you can see Tomkinson at the moment with a gap back to Arai with Samuel, Tajeras, Wilhelm, Alzet behind, and Catherine Tomkinson, another of our riders who really does animate the racing. Somebody who's not afraid to take on the rest of the group and really set down what she wants to do in the race. She's a leader, not a follower.
Well, I tell you, this is strong riding from Tomkinson. Her cadence is really good at the moment, and she is absolutely determined on this climb. This is the Hawk Hills climb, and Tomkinson and Al Ray, two of the riders in the Category 5 race. Tomkinson is the rider up the road. We've just been in with her. Seba Al Ray is the rider chasing. And look at the look of determination on Al Ray's face at the moment. She's gulping in that air to power those lungs. Shiku Fu is the rider on her wheel. Brooke Samuel, Katie Bago, Camilla Pamplona is there as well as Isabel Alza. But Al Ray is setting the pace here, chasing Tomkinson up the Hawk Hills climb.
So here we go. This is the push up to the top. As we said earlier on, this is not necessarily going to win you the race, but this is going to mean that you are in the selection if you can make it over with the leaders. The drop down, very, very short indeed, less than a kilometre of descending as you go down, a little kicker as you come out the other side, and then you've got that step climb of Spring Road climb coming very quickly indeed. Brooke Samuel looking smooth at the moment. You can see working to stay with this group, wants to be in the wheels here. That little bit of a push is going to be key. Not far from the summit. We're currently at 24.2k, about 500 meters to that summit, and this group is spread. The gaps are starting to open, and once that gap opens, it is tricky to close down. But I think if you can stay in the main group, you do have the advantage that there's going to be some draft advantage on the way down. Then the run across the Spring Road climb can be quick. It's not downhill, it is uphill, but it's still fast, and it's particularly quick. It's something that you see. If a race is slow to start with, it will be much quicker at the end. If you will see riders pushing on, if it's fast all the way through, actually, you don't get those high peaks. Now, we've got Maria Holcroft on the move here in Category 1. She's got a big, big kick. She's a rider who can challenge for the race win time and time again. And she's using these climbs to just put the pressure on here. You can see climbing consistently 6 watts per kilo plus 12.5k covered and still traveling at 32 kilometers an hour of this almost 5% slope. And that has provoked a response behind. We've seen some kicks up to 6 watts per kilo. As much to stay with the chase group as it is to pull back Holcroft.
Well, and I always look at these. So when we come to the monthly final, the team competition comes into play. But some of these teams are permanent teams. And I do often wonder how much those team tactics come into play in the qualifiers, because Holdcroft, part and parcel of our Block International, the same team that McCarthy, Hermansen and Kulczynski are on. And whether this is team tactics to send Holdcroft down the road, we know she's strong. She's taken wins on the Sunday Race Club before, and she's had 2 wins in the not far distant couple of months on the Sunday Race Club. And whether this is an individual attack or a team plan.
It can be both.
Well, it can. At the moment, Category 4 are on the Hawk Hills climb, and Vochkova, Salgado, Montoya, Highbayer, Hadlock, Krasova, Hill, right at the front of the group. And look at the size of that Category 4 pack. It is huge.
It certainly is. It's a big, big pack, but you've still got riders being distanced. You can see that on the top right hand side of your screen as you see the riders, those riders dots indicating each dot indicating a rider just being distanced. That's top right hand side of your screen. On the bottom left hand side of your screen you can see Camilla Salgado in person out of the saddle here, and you can see just kicking around those revs, 60 revs per minute, and that's reflected in the avatar at the moment. Putting down the power though, 250 watts going through those pedals. The heart rate starting to rise, 184. Remember, heart rate is utterly individual. Some riders will still have room for manoeuvre at 184. Their max heart rate might be 200, 205. Other riders at 185, they are on their absolute limit. And other riders will never see 184 again.
Well, I'll tell you
Hello.
something who will see 184, and that's Kate McCarthy. She'll see 184 everything, whether that's revs, heartbeat. I nearly said kilometres per hour, but sometimes it feels like she's doing 184 kilometres an hour, the pace she rides. Very quickly marked by Gabby Guerra.
Yes.
Guerra, I'll tell you something. McCarthy has a target on her back, and Guerra is glued to it. Francesca Tomasi, Kittel, Mayer, Van Hooling, Olberg, Hermansen, all very, very quickly closing down the gap. McCarthy stretching her legs, and Guerra, as ever, covering the move.
And sometimes those moves that are being put in by attacking riders, we've just seen, we've seen Holcroft come back. Teammate McCarthy goes down the road. Then they come back. Guess who's going down the road now?
Hermansen.
Teammate of Holcroft and McCarthy.
Yep.
So we're seeing repeated kick. And this can be to see who will chase, who is out there. It can also be, obviously, to tire out the legs. Interestingly, Hermansen and Kolczynski. Which team is Kolczynski on? The same team as well. So clearly, the Ablock International team doing a little bit of a working over here of the riders.
They're doing. Kate McCarthy's thinking, I'm going to sit in the bunch until I get to Spring Road Climb, and then I'm going to ride away from everyone. Let's tire their legs out by shooting my teammates down the road regularly.
I would suggest maybe I'm going to try and go clear at Hawk Hills if I was Kate McCarthy, but that would be just...
Hawk Hills is so short.
It is, but we know she's got a big kick. But I think she could take it certainly down to 2 or 3 riders on Hawk Hills because the gradient is 4.8%. It is, it's consistently steep.
What I'm loving here is, and it's not that I'm ignoring you, Matt, but what I'm loving here
nice change.
is the fact that look how wide across the road these riders are. They are all looking at each other, going, "Go on then, you do the chasing." No, go on then, you do the chasing.
You can just imagine it, can't you? If you sort of sat there.
After you.
No, after you.
And it is, isn't it? It is a game.
But it's letting Kolczynski go down the road. She's at 4 seconds at the moment, now 5 seconds. This is a rider who has been targeting the outdoor hill climb road season in the USA. She's a multi-time record holder on there.
Yeah.
And Kolczynski, she's done some really good rides of late. And I think coming back into form, it's very difficult to hold form, to hold that top race ability, that top physical peak all the way through the year. You've got to kind of let it back off a bit and then go up again and then drop down again and give your body a chance to recover. And that's also how you improve, because you need to not only train your body hard, but you need to let it then recover and rebuild. You tear the muscles apart. When it rebuilds stronger. But you've got to give it the chance to do that. If you're just continually battering it, it's not going to do that. Now, we're seeing Kolczynski coming back in again onto form. She's been aiming to do that when it comes into that hill climb season. That's what's happening. The rest of the riders now thinking about what they're going to do about this.
Catherine Fua.
Yeah, out of the saddle here, kicking down on the pedals. And really interesting to see Fua now stretching her legs. Guerra is there as well. So is Van Hooling. And they know they can't let Fua go away on their own. She's such a dangerous rider.
She is.
The phrase that comes to mind is that form is temporary, but class is permanent. Catherine Furr is absolute class on a bike.
Oh, yeah, she definitely is. And the air conditioning units are working hard at the moment. And Fua pushing on, Kittel, Engström, Alberg, Mayer, Holdcroft, Bjarhead, all in the mix. And Guerra there as well. Now, Guerra and Fua, obviously teammates on that Sweat Sensation squad with Mayer and Bruni. Bruni not here today because she's outdoors racing this weekend. The Sweat Sensations took second place to Ablock International in the team competition last week, 1 minute 7 seconds separating those two teams.
One of the interesting teams for me this week is going to be Amelia Van Hove's squad, which is the Supernova squad, because we know Amelia Van Hove is going to be in the mix. Francesca Tobassi's been getting better and better.
Yeah.
And they've also got Sophie Giovanni, who's moved up from Category 2, who's a good climber. So if she's in the mix when we go to the climb, she'll be in there. Let's jump from Category 1, though, across to another of our fantastic race categories. In fact, we're going to dive in with Randy Gino from the United States of America, one of our great sprinters, great climber, a fearsome competitor, and fantastic to see that she's in this leading
20 riders
group
in this
here.
leading. Well, 20 riders having gone underneath the banner towards the 4 of the Category 3 pack.
Yeah.
And Gino, part and parcel of that. In fact, 20 riders in that leading group. Gino went over the top in 5th place, 5th fastest time up the climb. She's right in the mix there. And that Category 3 pack, it is so competitive, Category 3.
And you can see running, they're just sucking in the oxygen, that because your heart rate continues to climb. When you go over the top of a climb and you go into the descent, you can ease off the pedals, but your heart rate continues after.
It lags.
There is a lag, and we're not talking fractions of a second. It can lag by a minute or two, and it keeps on building. Depending on your fitness. Now, the fitter and the more talented
the fitter
you are,
the quicker it will come
down. It will come down, the quicker it will respond. But you push yourself super hard on a climb like that recovery time, you can be in trouble. And if you've gone into that red zone, you've gone over your anaerobic limit, so using the oxygen, you've gone right into the limit where you are burning fuel out of the muscles, you're really, really going to pay for that. So you need that recovery. Now, Gino, sucking in the oxygen, going to refuel as fast as possible, ready for the next push. Really, really key. Meanwhile, Category 2 at the moment, 19.2k into the 35-kilometre route. Not too far from that Golden Gate sprint, but at the moment, the pace and
steady.
the pace, the heart rate, the revs, the shape of the bunch, and looking at Sarah Lundin, the composure.
Yeah.
That's not a rider under pressure. Sarah Lundin looks to me like this is this is going to my game plan. I can sit here all day long if you want. Super chilled.
She's fueling. She's doing all the right things at the moment. Hydrating, fueling, taking those moments. We often talk about micro rests. Micro rests cannot be micro. They can be longer rests as well. And wherever you can take the opportunity to rest, recover, refuel, hydrate in a race, all important skills.
Dana Wagner's a rider who I think has her fueling and her racing absolutely dialed. Her hydration, she always seems to me to bring an A game to the race. She's a rider. Another rider. I mean, I know we could say this about a lot of the race, but Dana Wagner would be a rider who I think could do well today because she rides hard.
She does. She likes a hard race, but then she is a cyclocross age group world champion.
Yes, and I think it's also
that's hard riding.
It's hard riding, but she rides hard where she needs to. I think she's got that experience. The course is deceptive. It's a lot of long drags. There's a lot of draggy sections. There are flat sections. There are dips in there, but there's a lot of long drags. Then we go on to the bit at the end, and we know that the Hawk Hills, followed by the Spring Road, is a hard section.
But let's be realistic. If you are a cyclocross rider, you are used to racing near enough your maximum heart rate for 50 minutes.
Yep.
That is exactly the skill set you need for this course today. You need to be able to go hard at the end. Lorena Beltran, do you know, she's one of those riders I often think goes under the radar on the Sunday Race Club, but she is great. She has real form.
Yes, and I think she's a rider. I mean, you can see here just focused on that screen, just very happily moving along smoothly there. A no Category 2 rider should be discounted.
Well, she's come up from Category 3 into Category 2, and she's one of the riders that I really think does deserve it.
Yeah, and at the moment, she's had a second place. She's had 3 third places. She's had 8 top 5s in 4th and 5th place. She's yet to get that win. And that is a statistic that really shocks me because I would expect her to have had a string of wins. And I think it's just that last little step, that last 1%, or 2% that will take her there. And then I think once she's got that win, she's going to get win after win. Because
the first time you take that win, you get that just something else, don't you?
You
suddenly get that self-belief.
Yeah. You can do it. It's been proven to you. You feel like you belong, that there's no imposter syndrome once you've done a few wins. And it just builds, that everybody sort of goes, oh, I'm not sure I should be in Category 2, I should be Category 3. And then, oh, well, I'm doing okay here. But actually, no, not just doing okay, right up there. And then it's just that last little bit. How much do you want it? How much? We see these races.
With imposter syndrome? You need to wrap it in a ball, scrunch it up and throw it over your shoulder because it shouldn't exist.
Some very wise person must have told you that sometime.
Well, I just think that the likes of Kawasuska, you can see her on the screen here, strong rider in Category 4. She's doing brilliantly riding here. She's chasing Rosa Herrera and Ella Vink up the road. Category 4 are at 28.5 kilometres. They're on the Spring Road climb. The road is going upwards for Kawasuska at the moment, and you can see the push, you can see the power, you can see the look of concentration on her face. On the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can see the Category 4 jerseys scattered up the hillside with Category 3 jerseys, Category 5 jerseys, and Category 6 jerseys. The race is truly on now on the Spring Road climb.
Kawasuska's target, get to Herrera. Get to Rosa Herrera is class on wheels. We know that she's a really great rider, super skilled mountain biker as well. So lots of experience. We're in with Rosa Herrera. Behind her is Kawasuska, and that's Kawasuska's time. There's always a rider to race. It's one of the great things about having our 6 categories. Going back to a point earlier on, having the 6 categories means that the groups come together. There are riders around you when you need it at the end of the race, and that's really, really important. Now, right-hand side of your screen is a Rosa Herrera in Category 4. Left-hand side of your screen, you can see we're in with Musa Al-Mansouri, another rider who's regularly riding and racing, and consistency is key. This was actually an earlier conversation that Emma and I had when we were off air, that one of the most important things you can do is try and ride consistently, because it will improve you all the time. Get those regular rides in. And Musa Al-Mansouri is doing that. She's riding consistently. She's going to see the group come up on her heels here. And this is the leading group in Category 4, making the way in through. So Soper's Strepo in there, Haber, De Grazia is in there, Van Rossum, the rider who's at the fastest time over climb number 1. That was the Hawk Hills climb in that polka dot skin suit. And Musa Al-Mansouri continuing to improve. And I'm pretty sure Musa Al-Mansouri is the UAE age group esports champion.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Champion.
She's a strong climber, you know, and really great to see her in the mix here. Becerra, Giuliano around her, continuing to climb strongly. That group of Category 4 riders have gone up and over the top, and Becerra desperately trying to stay on the wheel. Al-Mansouri desperately trying to stay on the wheel of Natalia Becerra and pushing on. You know, one of the things I'm always impressed about Musa Al-Mansouri, if a gap forms, she digs. It doesn't matter how hard she's been pushing, how hard she's working. She tries to close the gaps down.
And I might be wrong, but I think she's actually a police officer in person, in real life. One of our fantastic riders who I think, if I'm right, and apologies if I'm not, but I'm pretty sure she is, combining lots of other things as well. We do have quite a large number of people who serve their nation in various ways. So juggling lots of things, not just being amazing bike riders and juggling all sorts of different things. It's very difficult to do at the very top of our sport, in the top of being our elite riders, but plenty of people do it. Now, let's go across to Category 4. We're going to go into our Netherlands riders with the Netherlands orange in the background there. Gina van Rossum is there. The orange, the national colours of the Netherlands. The Netherlands team skin suits are all orange. I actually have a colleague who I work with on the races. He went to go ride in an area on the bike race, not realizing where he was stopping, and he'd taken a orange Netherlands tribute skin suit. He's not Dutch at all. He is a UK person. He went to the hotel of the Olympic squad and the Olympic training facility.
Seriously?
And the only riding kit he had was the same orange there as Gina van Rossum's. It's literally only a couple of weeks ago. And it was also at the same time that the BMX World Cup was there and all of the staff were there. So he went out riding in orange, feeling a proper imposter. He had genuine imposter syndrome there because he wasn't Dutch. He wasn't a national squad rider, but he had the Dutch kits on at the Dutch Olympic Hotel with a load of bike riders around him.
Gina van Rossum is on some really good
She's
form
no
at the
imposter.
moment.
She's absolutely
She's
brilliant.
not an imposter
absolutely
at all.
Love watching the race.
She is on such good form at the moment, and she had a ding-dong battle last week with Keely Bennett in Category 4, and she was pipped on the line near enough. Bennett put in a phenomenal performance, but it was great to see the two of them race really strongly, and I'm expecting another strong race from Van Rossum. She climbs really well. well, while also climbing really well in Category 3, Katarzyna Velna. She's the rider in the polka dot skin suit, but it's still a big group of Category 3 riders. At last count through the Golden Gate Sprint, it was 20 riders in the leading group. I'm not sure it's 20 riders at the moment. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 riders, I think, are still in contention in that Category 3 race as they work their way now well and truly onto the Spring Road Climb.
Yeah, Velna taking the Hawk Hills Climb competition from Kasani, Nielsen and Bonilla, with Gino in the Alto Marino climbing strongly. We saw on our screens earlier, 6th position right in the mix. And one of the key things for me is Hawk Hills gives you an indication of who wants it, who's up there. If you are right up in the mix, so if you're in sort of the top 10, 15 riders on the Hawk Hills, you're in with a chance when you get in. If you've been detached at that point, you're going to be in trouble. Gina Van Rossum, actually, interestingly, on Hawk Hills, the fastest Category 4 rider up the Hawk Hills, taking 5 points there. Elos, then Sopers, then Highbort, then Goodall as they came in and through. Really interesting to see that. Category 2 just coming over the top of the Hawk Hills climb. I'll just get this out very quickly. Susnick, Lethbridge, Hackinen, Kalman, Gosselander, your leading 5 riders. Denton, Vittori, Garea, Lundin, Roach, Nordin, Wagner, Gonzalez, Briggs, Farstrom, along with Degma Shandy, Shanks, Davidson, Pruitt, Banerjee, and Mob.
20, there they are, coming down the other side. There's a stretch on the group coming down the other side, but there's 21 riders in contention at the moment. And the question is, will they all come back together again? I'm not sure all 21 of them will, but I'm sure we're going to see a group of around 15 riders come out of that and roll towards the base of the Spring Road Climb. So a large group of Category 2 riders rolling towards the base of the Spring Road Climb, a large group of Category 3 riders on that climb and motoring now as they move through. Category 2 starting 10 minutes after Category 3. So at the moment, take a look at that. What is that? About 5K separating them.
And Tyson Susnick in the Category 2 race there. Rider who's raced, this is her 5th Sunday Race Club. And just still learning how that... Yep. You know, with 5 rides in your back, 4 rides in the bank at the moment, this is going to be a 5th one. Going to be learning how to ride it, how to race it. Brilliant result, getting that polka dot skin suit. She'll take that segment prize away from Hawk Hills. Can she retain it when she goes onto the climb of Spring Road? Well, at the moment, one rider who's looking very strong, Kath Tompkinson here, looking very good indeed.
She is indeed, and she really is riding strongly. Shikifu is the rider 17 seconds behind her in category. If you'll just excuse me one moment, everybody.
I know exactly what you're about to say.
I am about to respond to a comment on the YouTube channel. Normally I don't do this, but I'm going to. Farm Watts, Hayden Pucker. If you think you won't ever win,
you won't.
You won't. It's as simple as that. If you do not believe you can win the Sunday Race Club, you will never win the Sunday Race Club. If you do not believe you can win the World Championships, you will never win the World Championships.
Right. Now,
that's the message for today.
Okay. Hayden, now you know how I feel on the other side of the studio, mate. You've had your telling off. I suspect, I hope it was said, put as an interested, as a slightly sarcastic comment, because Hayden Pucker, his best result at the moment, wait for this, is 3rd place.
I know.
He's had 6 top 5s, but the problem that he's got is he's with the world's best riders.
He's the USA National Cycling Esports champion.
He's already had a win or 2. He's a class rider. And I think you've got to... There is a point, a sort of a serious point here. You've got to have that belief that you can do it. And you never know what will happen. Nobody wins all the time forever. Cavendish, 35 Tour stage wins. Hasn't. He's had plenty of downtime. He's had plenty of non-wins. He's had years and years and years without, and then he makes that comeback. There is inspiration for everybody out there. Right, let's get back to our racing. 2 of our polka dot skin suits on our screens. Rachel Kennedy leading the race out on the left-hand side of your screens. He is on his way up the climb here, and she's on the way up the climb. Rachel Kennedy's on the way up here and looking good. So Kennedy leading from Stevenson, 36 seconds. A polka dot skin suit, the rider who took the climb on climb number 1, currently leading on climb number 2 in our Category 6 race. Behind Category 5 race, that's on the right-hand side of your screen, top right-hand side, Tomkinson with the gap, again climbing well. The portent of what is to come that is indicated by the Hawk Hills coming true, certainly in Category 6 and in Category 5. Category 4 and Category 3, that is a whole different kettle of fish at the moment, because my goodness me, Highbor at the moment is on the attack. She's not the rider with the polka dot skin suit, but that group is behind. There are about another 9 or 10 riders chasing Highbor. Bottom right hand side of the screen, you can see Category 3. And at the moment, the skin suit leading the way up there, but not all together.
Well, that is true, and we'll come to the riders on the screen at the moment. I'm just going to give you an update because Category 1 over the Hawk Hills climb. Catherine Fu is setting the fastest time ahead of Francesca Tomasi, Maria Holdcroft, Gabby Guerra, Liz Van Heuling, Camilla Alberg. 13 Category 1 riders going over the top of that climb together. That race is definitely underway. Well, this race is definitely underway as well at the moment. 33.8 kilometres done for Rachel Kennedy. She's 24 seconds clear of Trudy Stevenson. Fanucci Consarasu is 52 seconds back. Catherine Tomkinson, who we saw go clear on the Hawk Hills in Category 5, is pushing on the right-hand side of your screen and closing down the gap. She's only 400 metres behind Kennedy.
And that's Kennedy's target now, not just stay clear of Stevenson, but stay clear of Tomkinson, who's moved up to 4th place overall. Brilliant racing, brilliant riding. Now, our lead riders on the way in towards our race finish. Remember, the total race distance today, 35 kilometres. Now, it is worth bearing in mind that at the top of this climb is tricky to get into the finish to get this timing right. This is a climb where, and the race finish, where the timing at the finish is absolutely critical if you are in a group. These two riders have gone clear and don't have to worry about that in any way, shape, or form, because they are not going to be closed down. The gaps they've got, I think, now at this stage of the racing too big as they make their way in. We're going to focus in now on Rachel Kennedy, who has gone clear, looking strong at the moment on the front of the race. Left-hand side, Trudy Stevenson, the rider chasing in 2nd place on the right-hand side of your screen. And this will come down to who wants it the most. But I think that demand, that desire was there from Kennedy from the start of the climb. She's outclimbed Stevenson here. And realistically now, Stevenson needs to hold position, not panic, and make sure she stays pacing. She's got a decent gap, though. Sarasu about 50 seconds back, the nearest rider.
Yeah, she is indeed. So Stevenson clear of 3rd place. Kennedy clear of 2nd place. As these two riders come towards the finish now, the finish at the 35-kilometre marker, 550 metres for Kennedy left. And it does indeed, the gradient comes off here as they drop down and then start to climb again. She's going to see the polka dot banner very, very shortly. In fact, if we look up, she's going to go under it right now.
So there we go, underneath the polka dot banner, looking good as she comes in here. And Kennedy now has this tricky little section to go into the finish. It's going to be our first look at it today. As you can see, -6.5, now nearly 7% descent here. And then we go around this turn, it kicks again. You can see the changing gradient very, very quick into this little cut through the stone walls here, the gorge here, being carved out, the road making its way in between the redwoods, in between the sections of rock at the side, over the top, and then we have the run for the finish. Now, momentum is key. At the moment, Kennedy and Tomkinson are not going to need to worry about this. They are clear on their own. If they make a mistake, they've got the leeway to not worry about this. But as you can see, we're now back into a descent, 5.5% descent. It means that Kennedy now can enjoy this roll up to the climb, taking away the race win in qualifier number 1 for July. At the 12th race of asking, Rachel Kennedy takes her first win here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. What a race by Kennedy. 12 races. First win done.
Well, Rachel Kennedy takes the win in Category 6. Trudy Stevenson is going to come through for 2nd place. Catherine Tomkinson, Category 5, has worked her way through the rest of the Category 6 race field. She too now comes into the gorge just before the finish line.
So Catherine Tomkinson making her way up through this gorge way. Another rider who could well be having her arms in the air here. It's looking good at the moment. She knows that she's got a descent to come now. She'll have seen that on the riders in front going through. She's seen that she needs to be up there. Regular racer on MyWhoosh on all of our race categories. Catherine Tomkinson takes her first win here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, winning category 5. And Kath Tomkinson, pat on the back, big style.
She gives
well
herself
done.
a round of applause.
Too right. Brilliant. Look at the emotion there. Fantastic. What a race win. 44 participations. First win.
Well, Shigufu is coming through for second place in that Category 5 race, and a great race from her as well. She really tries to close Tomkinson down in those final stages, but just couldn't. This is Category 4, and there's 550 metres to go. And this is Heiberg versus Van Rossum versus Soper versus Restrepo. Hill is in the mix, so is Hadlock. And I tell you something, Van Rossum's got something to prove after coming in second place last week. She's going to want the win today. Van Rossum is going to dig in now. She's going to absolutely drive for the line. Larissa Heiberger is going to be right on her wheel. Philippa Hill now, they've opened the gap, but it's these two riders coming into the gorge. They're coming down to 250 metres to go, and Van Rossum is out of the saddle in second wheel.
And getting the draft over the top and then kicking on into this descent's critical. Hill now at 2 seconds, but not necessarily out of it. Now the drive has to come. This is where the kick is important. Van Rossum has sealed the win in the polka dots composition, but this is for the run for the line. Larissa Heiberger on her heels. Who's going to take this? It's going to go to a photo finish. I think it could be Heiberger ahead of Van Rossum. It's going to be about who going through the timing first there. Emma, have you got the result?
I do. And Heiberg takes it from Van Rossum, 0.013 of a second. Well, running into the line, it's Velner with Rees and Ortiz in Category 3. This is coming in thick and fast at the moment, and they're up and over the top, and Katarzyna Velner in Category 3 holds on to that polka dot skin suit. This is the push for the line. She's absolutely dialing it.
This is going to be another first win here today. Velner comes in over the line. Brilliant result for her, taking away the win in Category 3. Adds that to the polka dot skin suit. The climb winners absolutely decimating the competition here.
Well, it is indeed. Ruti Rees comes through for second place in that Category 3 competition, and they're going to be battling it out on that hillside for the rest. Marisol Ortiz comes through for third. She's also taken the sprint competition today in Category 3.
Brilliant racing from our riders coming in over that finishing line. Velner from Rees from Ortiz. Alta Moreno, fourth place for her. Bonilla in fifth place. Those two riders from the Philippines getting top fives here today as they came in Category 3. Now, Category 4 race field as they came in over the line. And we saw Heiberger go through ahead of Van Rossum. I mean, that gap, Emma, I mean, it's next to nothing. We are talking 1/100th of a second.
Oh, it's tiny. We needed a computer for that call. But let's just drop back in with the racing at the 30.8 kilometre marker. They are on the final climb of the day. This is Category 2. Alice Lethbridge, Joanna Cowman, Jennifer Gothlander. Gothlander's on our screen at the moment. Sylvia Guerrilla. Susnik is there in the polka dot skin suit. Hannah Hakkinen is there. Manshandi is there. These riders all pushing on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders in that leading group in Category 2. Still with 4K to go.
All 4 of our race winners so far in their categories, so category 6, 5, 4, 3, have been new winners. First time winners. And I'm doing this on the fly, so you have to forgive me if I'm wrong, but I make that 4 brand new winners out of 4 race categories taking the win here today.
Wow.
Now, I don't think we're going to have a new winner in category 1 because at the moment we've got McCarthy from Guerra, from Holcroft, from Korchinski, from Fua. All of those riders have taken a win so far on the Sunday Race Club in the past, but this is at the moment the chase after McCarthy. You can see McCarthy out of the saddle, and even Gabby Guerra at the moment not able to hold those wheels. She's not off the pace completely, though.
The drive from McCarthy, just phenomenal. Guerra, look at that. The look of concentration, not panicked, not panicking, absolutely driving still. Great cadence, really pushing, getting out the saddle now, pushing around the corner. The gradient backs off a bit here. It's a flat section, and Guerra now with Category 2 riders ahead of her. So Pruitt, Schneider and Marb, 3 seconds, 2 seconds ahead. She can get into that draft and she can then use that to move through. Fua chasing with Kolchinsky and Holdcroft. They are at 7 seconds off the back of Guerra's wheel. Guerra chasing McCarthy.
Can Guerra get back? Yes, she can. Will she get back? More difficult, because McCarthy, again, another big kick here today, just puts down that power, just trying to stretch this out. We see this top end kick, this explosive power from McCarthy, but she then holds the power.
Well, she was kicking just shy of 9 watts per kilo when she made that move over Guerra and the rest of the pack. She then settled at about 8.5. She came down into 7. She's now settling around 6. So she's extended that gap at a really strong pace and then settled. We know McCarthy can sit at around 6 watts per kilo for a significant period of time.
And she does that immediately after the kick. So there's the kick and then instantly, and there's not a dip.
No.
And then a rise back to 6. That recovery is literally goes kick into the space. There's no pause. There's no hit. And I think that's why it's such a killer move that she keeps putting in, because it's a kick and then that pace. And that's why it's so hard to respond, because riders who kick after her then end up, she tempts them, I think, into it's that tantalizing. Just keep with, and then they go into the red and then they lose big time. And that's the section where she's scoring now. Let's go from Category 1 to Category 2. We saw Joanna Kalman, a rider who, that desire for that win is there. A rider who has had a win before on the Sunday Race Club, really pushing on here, but she's got some seriously strong company
8 riders
here.
Still in contention in that Category 2
you've
race.
got Guerrero on the front.
You have indeed.
And I think that's
and Lethbridge can climb. So can Susnik and Hakkinen. Gothlander, we know, is really strong and has an amazing kick, whatever race she has.
Now, Susnik has not had a win, and Guerrero have not had a win. So if it goes to the form book of this course, they could be the riders who are up there if it goes with the new riders taking a win. But you can never discount winners from taking more wins. And I think that is one of the key things. We are seeing that on the right-hand side of our screen. It's Mary Kate McCarthy at the moment, with that gap having opened up back to Gabby Guerra and that chasing group behind. Guerra currently now at 14 seconds behind our leading rider McCarthy. So that gap has extended. Guerra is climbing consistently at 6 to 7 watts per kilo. So is McCarthy. So that gap is yo-yoing. Just seeing that go down to 11, out to 15. It keeps on bouncing, the gap between Guerra and McCarthy. So it's a real pursuit at the moment. Both riders very evenly matched at the moment. The gradient change and the speed that they're doing changing the time gap between. They are coming up onto the heels of our leading Category 2 riders as well here. And I think that is going to be very, very telling as we make our way up this course. The pace that Category 1 have done their climbing in, that is where they've brought this time back.
Well, I can't wait to hear whether Kate McCarthy is going to defend her World Championship title this year in Abu Dhabi, and whether she's nailing her colours to the mast for that second attempt, because the early indications and the discussions about the type of course that those riders are going to face at the World Championships, I think it's going to be really, really interesting.
It is indeed. I think, for me, whatever course you choose for a World Championships, there are winners and losers by the course design and by the format, particularly within esports World Championships. And for me, testing all these riders is really, really key. And to be a world champion, you've got to beat the best on the day. It's a one-hit wonder. You don't have a second chance at this.
And also, it's not, it's not like how consistent are you, or can you win a series, or etc. It is what happens on that day at that point in time. And you've got to get yourself there. But once you've got yourself there, it is just that one race, and anything can happen. Well, anything can happen today. And Joanna Kalman, part and parcel of this lead group, she's still working and working strongly. They're at 33.3 kilometres, 1.7k to go. And Susnik, Kalman, Guerrero, Lethbridge, they are, well, I think the group of 8 have really now become a group of 4, and it's Kalman continuing to drive on the front here. They are now starting to drop riders with this pace that she is setting. It is really strong. This is intention.
It is, and the world champions coming up on the hills. The leading group of 4 riders in Category 2 only Kalman has had a win. She's had one win before. The rest of the riders in Category 2 in that leading group of 4 have not had a win. So that's Lethbridge, that is Susnik and Gorea. McCarthy comes past them, and you can see the pace of the world champion. And there is a response here from Susnik. Susnik is going after her, and this means that the pressure is on the rest of the riders. Can Susnik gain a little bit of draft? She's in the draft. You can see that the watts are in green. This is a killer move here. This is fantastic stuff because she's gone hard. She's gone into the draft. She was able to kick hard enough to go onto the wheels of McCarthy, and the rest of the riders are going to struggle to come back at this stage of the climb. But it's a big but. Has Susnik gone too hard, too deep in trying to follow the world champion? And can Correa and Kalman and Lethbridge come back now? Lethbridge, the furthest back of the chasing Category 4 riders, that original group of 4. This has blown it apart. Susnik has gone hard. She's I think, the least experienced rider on MyWhoosh of those 4 riders. However, she had that kick chasing the world champion, and it's put the others under pressure, but they're coming back on a wheel. So McCarthy rocketing through the blast as she came past, really shaking things up there in Category 2.
Well, I can tell you, Susnik's been caught by Kalman and Gorea. Those 2 riders more experienced than Susnik on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Didn't go when McCarthy went through the world champion in Category 1. She stormed past, but Susnik closed the gap. Gorea and Kalman have closed the gap now.
Now, Susnik, it's a great move. If you're feeling strong, go with it, but don't go too far. Go hard enough. It could be that what she's done, she's used that draft, and she might well think, well, I can do that again now. I've still got another kick left.
Might.
And that's going to be good to see.
Well, McCarthy at the moment tapping her way now into the final 500 metres of this race. She's riding strongly as she heads underneath that polka dot banner signifying the end of the Spring Road climb. Kate McCarthy has worked her way through the entire Category 2 race field, riding away from the Category 1 race field.
And behind our world champion, Susnik, I've just seen a 7 watt per kilo kick from Tasia Susnik. The rider, she wants to take that polka dot skin suit away. McCarthy on the front now, running in towards the line. Susnik's kick to go in underneath that polka dot banner has really opened the gap. 3 seconds to Guerrero and Kalman. That could still come back, dependent on what happens in that gorge, in the rock walls, in that real canyon that goes over the summit of this mountain. But this rider, well, she's proved time and time again, it's another win for Mary Kate McCarthy. The world champion wins Category 1 on race number 1 in July on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Immediately behind, a debut win from Tasia Susnik, who comes to the line. The climb win, the segment wins, and the win in the race overall in Category 2 behind big sprint from Kalman, who takes second place from Gorea. And I think behind we're going to see our second place rider in Category 1, Gabby Guerra, chasing Atlas Lethbridge, who'll take 4th in Category 2 to the line. Guerra comes through in second place, sucks up that oxygen, gives it absolutely everything. We've got a sprint unfolding behind, and look at this, Kolchinsky and Holcroft are up against each other. Holcroft is going to take this. Holcroft puts the jump on Kolchinsky in the sprint for the line, followed over the line by Fua. Fua's going to be our next rider in, and I think he's going to take that polka dot skin suit as the overall points winner.
Well, she does indeed, and the riders continuing to come in. This is Tomasi coming through on the line at the moment, and the riders in Category 1 continue to ride. Bridget Kiddle is going to be the next rider over the line ahead of Maya as the riders come through to finish the July Sunday Race Club.
So let's bring you those overall standings in Category 1. Kate McCarthy taking the top spot is 58 minutes, 21.57 seconds, the winning time. Gabby Guerra coming through just shy of 30 seconds behind in second place. Maria Holcroft in third at 43 seconds, just ahead, 0.7 of a second ahead of Kolchinsky in that final sprint. Fua taking fifth, Tomasi taking sixth, Kiddle taking 7th, Mayer taking 8th. These results updating as we go, as these riders make their way in and over the line. You can catch all of the race results. You can pick those up at MyWhoosh.com. If you go onto the results there, onto the tab for the results, you will then be able to work through all of the races. Don't forget, you can also go onto MyWhooshinfo.com for more race action. So MyWhooshinfo.com for more race action. Lots of updates about what's coming up, including lots of the community events on there, clubs, time trials, and so on. That's our women's race done for qualifier race number 1 in terms of our leaders home. Still riders out on the course, and if you are out and racing, remember, if you're on that last time, no hill goes on forever. I tell myself that each and every time. We don't go on forever without taking a quick break into the men's race, which is coming up shortly. Don't forget, please give MyWhoosh a follow. It's at MyWhoosh on Instagram and on Facebook. You can follow Emma at biking_Emma for all things Emma related. For all things Matt related, it's at Matt Fix a Pain. Don't forget, of course, to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching our women's race. I hope you'll be back with us for the men's race. Even better, tell your friends, get them there, have a watch party watching the rest of today's coverage. We will be back shortly. Don't go anywhere. But from Emma and me, we'll see you in a minute.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. So hello and welcome back to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club to qualify race number 1 for July. We've just had our women's race, fantastic racing and some real interesting moves about who could go, who couldn't, and a raft of riders who have come out in front that maybe were not on the cards initially. We won't give you any spoilers. You do need to watch it back. If you haven't seen it, do go have a look from the start. Before that, though, well, why not watch live? We are going to be bringing you all of the action from the men's race here today. The men racing in Belgium today, the 45-kilometre course. One of my favourites. Is it one of Emma's?
Oh, yes, it is. Absolutely one of my favourites. 45 kilometres of racing for the men, 492 metres of climbing. They come out of the start pen. It's a flat first 6 kilometres through the Ghent City Sprint. Then they hit the Qualifier, 3.9 kilometres. It's the longest climb out there. Average gradient 2.5%. Don't believe those numbers. Well, they are correct, but that first climb 17%, and then they drop down and it kicks again. They go through the Tissenhoven-Movel sprint over the Balkenberg, over the Eichenberg Hill, into the Eichenberg climb, which is the second of the 3 categorised climbs, 1.6 kilometres, average gradient 4.3%. They then transition 7.6k to the bottom of the Quermont. The Quermont is, well, it is steep. 2.2 kilometres, average gradient 4.2%. They descend off the Quermont, they hit the wall that is the Pattenberg. Just 400 metres of it, but it is shy of 12% average gradient. And then there is the run to the finish line. This is going to be fast, it's going to be furious, and you are going to see sprint finishes, even though you are looking at that profile in front of you.
And the climbs, 3 categorized climbs in the Kortekeer, in the Eichenberg and the Quermont, but many of these climbs in between the Eichenberg Hill, the Valkenburg, along with that final climb up the Patterberg out from the tunnels into the daylight in the Citadel, are very, very steep indeed and will be instrumental in how the race is ridden here today. As with our women's race, we have our 6 race categories lining up on our start line. Categories 6, 5, 4, and 3. 5-minute separations between 6 and 5, between 5 and 4, and 4 and 3. We then have a 10-minute gap between the start of Category 3 and Category 2, and 5 minutes between Category 2 and Category 1, who are our last riders to go. Our Category 6 riders are our standard race field, and in Category 6 here today, well, we have got some amazing riders. A big race field, the BMC High 6 team, Dasanaba and Llewellyn. We've got Rule 5 headed by Wakefield. The BMC 6 squad by Sensing Truba Newman. The BMC 6ers, you can see it's all BMC today. It's all about the BMC. It's the BMC 6ers, Bain, Olsen, and Farrow. And don't forget, there are even BMC 6-ish riders been back in Cronje. Spinergy are here as well. The Wheelies Racing Squad are the riders with the most riders in one team. Bianchi, Nielsen, Zozal, Teron, and Sebs are all riding for the Wheelies team. The ZTBA and Amani team are here. Fabra, Voss, and Rocco. And a new rider in with us as well, and that is Laurent Le Grenet. He's from France, and he's joining us as well. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be at the top when we get to Belgium. It is qualifying race number 1 in the men's racing, and away go the riders from the pens. They will head out onto this course for the initial flat run of 6 kilometers until our first climb. 0 climbing, 0 ascent, flat out usually, all the way though, because riders just seem to love to rip it up on this course.
Well, it's Tom Harvey ripping it up on the front at the moment. He's absolutely dialing it out of the pen, pushing on big style. The pack rolling really fast, just shy of 45 kilometres an hour at 300 metres into the race. This is the biggest race field, 27. Rewind. 57 riders on the start sheets, 286 riders overall. This is the largest race field of them. And the story of the day in the men's competition is the realignment of the 6 categories. It is going to be a tricky story to tell you because there has been some real shifts. So the bottom of the categories have come down, the top of the categories have gone up, and it has influenced every single race field today. It's going to make it really, really interesting. So category 6, now our largest race field. 16 riders have come down. The top 5 from the final last week have all gone up to category 5. That's the level of movement that we are talking about. There are some fabulous riders on the start sheets here and some riders who could go really, really well. When we think about the course today, Belgium, I love the Belgium course, but how many times do you think, Matt, we have raced here?
Oh,
How many times have the men raced in Belgium?
11.
Oh, this is the 10th running of the Men's Sunday Race Club
So they've
in
done 9.
Belgium.
I thought they'd done 11.
They've done 9 already.
I didn't think that I guessed it.
So
I'll
the
be
first
honest.
time out was on the 21st of April 2024, so just over a year ago. The record on the course was set on the 22nd of December 2024 by Jason Osborne, 61 minutes 33 seconds in category 1. The other Well, it's really interesting, actually. All the other categories, the PB on the course was set this year. We've been on this course twice this year already. And earlier on this year in May was when category 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 set their course records. Category 6 course record set by Francisco Sobrino, 77 minutes 34 seconds. Now, Wakefield, Rooney, Back, Abbott are all in the group as we head straight away at that 2 kilometre marker into the Ghent City Sprint. And you can see the pack light up here. Ibrahim is here. Yarvin is on the front. Yarvin not sprinting, but Mamba is. Ephraim Mamba comes through the group and is absolutely dialing it here. 11.3 watts per kilo. This is a long sprint, and Mamba is at the front of the group. Peter Connell now coming through. Roberto Diaz, they've come from further back in the group. So is Cadabona. Cadabona really strong when it comes to sprinting. We're going to take a look, and we're going to take a look at those results. Who goes into green? Joachim Skretting.
Fastest time through the segment. It's through the segment, not over the line that counts. Just give us the top 5, Emma, before we move.
So Joachim Skretting goes through fastest time. Peter Connell in 2, Alexander Knoll in 3, Roberto Diaz in 4, and Wojciech Sebsa in 5. I tell you something, all of those riders over 11 watts per kilo average.
Shows you just how fast it is and how big that kick is. Right, little bit of housekeeping. If you are one of our current riders and you have just joined, please, guys, do join the Zoom room. That means that we can get you up on screen. You need to follow those instructions. Turn your microphone off. Make sure that the name is the same as your name on the race, so your Zoom name is the same as the name on the race. Make sure that you have auto rotate on and turn it into a landscape mode, sideways, not portrait. Please do that. Please make sure it's you follow all of those instructions that have come through, and then that means that we can get them there. So remember, make sure you get it pointing the right way with the microphone off, and then it should all set up. Get those instructions followed. We really love to see what you're getting up to when you're part of the BMC Get Racing Squad, Level Avengers, Level Racing, and Level Up, or part of the MPCC team, Upcycled, or another of our fantastic ZTBR squads, the ZTBR Chiruas squad, who are with us once again. Some brilliant riders, put some fantastic race performances in our finals in category 4. Emma, now you were talking about movement up and down.
I was. 18 riders coming down to category 5, 6 riders going up from category 5. Category 5 in the men's final was one, and I'm going to say one because I'm going to talk about category 2 and 3 in a minute, was one of the, closest races. Dawson Pulaka, Gaviria, Wang, and Villarda, the top 5. Level Avengers took the win, 3rd place, 5th place, 9th place, versus 2nd place, 4th place, and 11th place for the Upcycle squad. 14 seconds separated those two teams. Really, really close. It's going to be a mixed bag now because 6 riders have gone up. Kendall's gone up, Pruitt's gone up, Mukhtari's gone up, Villarda's gone up, and Dawson has gone up. That's going to make it really interesting, and allow people to think, oh, that top spots are now open. David Winfield's come up from Category 6. Joel Warren's come up from Category 6. Riley Milostic has come up from Category 6, and so has Sebastian Wolf. I think they are going to be really interesting to watch here in Category 5. Daniel Dotto has come up as well.
Yeah, so many riders, so much
Moving.
movement up and down, dynamic categories, and riders improving, as well as riders maybe just
It's just a
taking a break.
realignment.
It's just realigned, hasn't it? It's really shifted things around. It's going to mean that that people who maybe didn't think they were in with a chance of being in the prizes will be. Remember, top 10 riders in each of our race categories, categories 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, receiving prizes, as well as the sprint segment prizes, as well as the sprints overall, as well as the climb segment prizes and the climb overall. And then, of course, when we get to the finals, our top 70s in each and every race category getting prizes as well. Each and every Sunday of the year, we're here bringing you the race action. Myself, Matt Payne, and Emma Martin, and of course, the amazing team behind the scenes. I want to say a big thank you to all of the team in production who spent a lot of time knitting fold and getting everything together and herding cats, aka our riders, because everybody's focused on their ride. They have to keep an eye on everybody and everything that's going on simultaneously while operating some of the top tech in the business. They are some of the best in the business to work with, having worked with lots of production crews. So a big thank you to them. Now, let's get back down to our racing. Brett Sensing at the moment over the front, and we're going to see if he can go and break this
push
up.
into the quarter key.
Do you know what? We're seeing the squeeze on for the climb. Meanwhile, in Category 5, Luke Allport on a course that
suits Luke Allport.
Yeah, this is one of the courses that gave us the term to Allport to go clear from the front with a sustained push. Allport went for it, but he's being out all-passed at the moment by Christoph Lasnot.
I think that was a lead out because I thought Allport's going to have his eye on the prize at the end of this course today. But Evan Svart, Joel Warren, all pushing on here after Skikora also riding strongly. And it's Lasno, Christoph Lasno in Category 5, who comes through the pack. Clinton Cirillo, Riley Milostic right up there as well. Oh, look at that. Joel Warren has just gone over the top with Evan Svart. Timing is everything.
It is indeed diving over the top of the race route. He came through faster than the computers could calculate. Look at that. And it's incredible speed. Now, it is one of those things that you always, we are always double checking our tech, and on the way through it is very, very much worth you diving on. Don't forget, all the results are live at the moment. MyWhoosh.com. On the results, you can split it down by your sprints, by the overalls. You can see who's up in the mix in each of our race categories once they're up and racing. We're going to take a look into Category 4. This is going to be the third of our race categories away with the BMC4 squad. And BMC4 squad, the biggest squad here today. Neville Ross, Jones, Horsley, and Clendinning in that team. The Dirt First team, captained by Yulin. We've got Bachansky for Inner Fight in the mix with the Mighty Ducks and the Anzacs, Brook and Robinson, respectively. And BMC, well, of course, they haven't got one team with the BMC 4. They've also got the BMC Racing Squad in here, Pino and Giuliano as well. And again, Emma, although it's not as big a race field, there's still quite a few runners going up and down. Well, let's take a look at those in a second. Just before we get there, just a quick reminder, 6 race categories. This is Category 4 going off 5 minutes after Category 5, 5 minutes before Category 3. Time to hit the road with our riders in the red jerseys as we go out into Belgium.
No, they do indeed. And out onto the flat 6 kilometre start today. That Ghent City sprint coming at the 2 kilometre marker really early in the course today. We're in with Jose Rodriguez, and you can see just on the back of the group here, 49 riders in Category 4 today, a smaller race field than Category 5 and Category 6. But, rather stacked race field. 4 riders coming up from Category 4 into Category 3. So those riders have progressed. Moretti, Almeida, Kiddle and Van Urk. Those are the riders who have left Category 4 for Category 3. Adam Dawson, as we said, Kendall, Pruitt, Mukhtari, and Villada, the riders coming up from Category 5, and 15 riders coming down from Category 3 into Category 4. So a real mixed bag. Andrew Neville-Ross is here, and Barchansky is here. Brian White is here. Tends to favour a longer climb, does White. Francis Pino, Yannicki Moreno, Vocacek comes down into Category 4. That's going to be interesting. So does Joseph Miller. That's going to be interesting to watch as well. Simon Bradley, Taylor Gonsolin, Torsten Holtz, Trent Stevenson, who took 3rd place last week. He could be one to watch. And for me, you can never discount Ryan Giuliano.
No, Ryan Giuliano, always one of those riders who he sneaks under the radar during the races, and yet we know that he can be a rider in the mix when it comes to it. So that's a fast kick out, just seeing a little bit of action, kicking away on the front of the race. You'll see Jakub Vocacek in here. Jakub, one of the key people when it comes to knowing all things MyWhoosh. Got to say a massive thank you to everybody who works with the MyWhoosh info team, because they are keeping the community involved on the way in and through, and bringing you all sorts of stats. A great webpage, MyWhooshinfo.com, for lots of information, whether that's on the team time trials, on the Sunday Race Club. The leading group just being pulled back by that big bunch. I think most moves at this stage are not, well, they're not going to stick, are they? It is a bit of an exercise in futility trying to go clear.
Or it could well be the final stages of your warm-up.
Well, it could well be, because that's a risky thing to do, though.
Not when you've got a flat 6K.
You think?
Not when you've got a flat. There are certain courses I think you can get away with it on, particularly where there's a flat 6K to start with, and you can get that final little leg sprint in once the start's gone.
Okay. How about your greater knowledge being the qualified coach of the two of us?
Well, they are very quickly underneath that start banner, and I can tell you the sprint is going to come from the back of this group, not the front. Holtz is on the front, and he's pushing on, but Torsten Holtz has got to know that while he's opening his legs up and going here, someone is going to come from the back of the group to the front. Hugo Jones is doing a sterling job doing that at the moment. Michael Pruitt is in there as well. They're coming from the back to the front, and it's highly likely that draft is going to see the rider pick up the green skin suit.
Well, you were dead right there, Emma. It was indeed Hugo Jones coming from the back of the group, coming through. Michael Pruitt, interestingly, was even further back. He made his way up, but he only managed to get second. So Jones, with the leaders in the group that were going through fast, he basically picked up some of the fastest riders at the front just at the end of the section. So as he came through there using that, so Jones taking the 5 points, Pruitt taking 4, Holtz taking 3, Restrepo taking 2, and Pino taking 1 point. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points for each of our sprints. That's the Ghent City sprint and the Thistlehoven-Molen sprint. Add your points together, that gives you your total points. Biggest point scorer takes away the overall prize. Relatively simple concept on its gov. Okay. It's maths, that's never much of a point. Let's move across into Category 3, because we have got the legendary Anzacs team here, headed up by Patrick Bloom. Level Golden are here. Will it be a golden top spot for Morgan or Bakker? Sandstorm represented by Niall Batty. Will Batty be able to bat them all in to the outfield today? Will
sorry
it be a 6
about
for him?
the pun.
I know, terrible, isn't it? And then what's up? Well, what's up? Hopefully up to the top of the standings will be Montoya Stewart and Clays. Cheesy links on rust.com are available. Other links are available. Let's get you in with Niall Batty in here to the start line. This rider, a rider who will love the ascents and the steep sections, is going to play right into his forte, right into his strengths. He will be making sure he's drafting with the best behind. Will we see splits? Will we see echelons? Will we see the race split asunder? Will there be 39-second time gaps and 10-second time gaps in those race fields? We're not going to give you any spoilers for the Tour de France Stage 1 that happened yesterday.
No spoilers allowed. No spoilers allowed. People may not have watched, but 50 riders heading out of the start pen in Category 3. Diduch is there. He took second place last week. there's a huge number of riders on this list I'm looking at, thinking they could go really well today. Carol Sladek is in the mix. Joshua Haggerty is in the mix. Those two riders have come down from Category 2. So is Daniel Mundell. I think you could watch all three of those today because they could well be up there. So could Kiersnowski. So could Diduch. So could Tidholm. Who else could be up there? Well, Lewis Ridley, Nick Squillari, Matthews Cowman, Angarita, Ivo Sur, Walter Clays. Clays often goes well and comes to the fore. His timing is perfection. Comes to the fore at the end of the stage.
Yeah, definitely a good call on this course. Walter Clays, a rider who seems to always go well on here. We'll have to wait to see, though, whether he's going to be able to make it. Just taking a look in at Mads Vither at the moment, the Dane at the moment on the climb here in third position. Now just dropping to four. You can just see these three riders, second, third, fourth place, all yo-yo. Peter Connell in the mix as well. Brett McMurtry, the rider who's clear at the front, though. This is where they've got to decide, are they riding for the overall, or are they riding for this segment prize? Because at the moment, McMurtry has got to pull back Nielsen. Has he got the power to pull back Rune Nielsen? Nielsen is up the road. Here he is. He's coming in now. He's going to do a tight left-hand turn, and the banner comes. I think he's got enough of a gap, even if somebody takes a run at him now, to hold this. And it should mean that he's going to take away that first of our segment prizes on the climbs competition. Again, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points for first, second, third, fourth, and fifth places, respectively. The Quarter Kia climb done and dusted for Rune Nielsen. We'll have to see if he can hold on to that polka dot skin suit as the rest of the riders come underneath the banner. And of course, we move across from the Quarter Kia via non-categorized climbs of Valkenburg and Eichenberg Hill to the next categorized climb, which will be the Eichenberg climb, and our final categorized climb, the Quermont climb.
Well, 22 Category 6 riders in the mix at the top of the Quarter Kia. It's going to be interesting to see if any of the riders who are a little bit further back can get back in touch. Category 3 that we're in with at the moment, and I had to do a little bit of a check there. At the 1.7 kilometre marker, just having come out of the start pen, they're about to head into the Ghent City Sprint. So Category 6 now over the Quarter Kia. Category 5 on the Quarter Kia climb. Category 3, this is the sprint that they're lining up, and it's really interesting to see the two riders just going out front. Are they, well, they're not going for the sprint, but they could well be enabling the draft for others.
A draft enabler.
Yeah.
Rather than a draft excluder.
Send somebody down the road and you get more draft.
Yep. And
for longer.
Yeah. And it does allow those riders as they come through to pick that up. Look at what's coming down here from Rick Van Uyck, a regular fast sprinter in here. And you can just see, quite literally pick the jersey off the shoulders of Kierski as they came in through Kierski, the rider who took it initially by going through the line first. Felt the draft and felt that jersey be whipped off, felt the chill of losing a layer as Rick Van Uyck pulls on that green skin suit as the fastest rider through the segment. And with most, if not, in fact, all of the Category 3 riders through Van Uyck taking away top spot. Interestingly, though,
not the fastest sprint.
No, Category 5 have the fastest sprint, followed by Category 6, then Category 3. And in fact, Category 4, fastest rider through in 6th position. It shows you...
Because it's a combination of so many things.
It is. It's all relative to the pace going in as well as the pace through.
And the size
higher
of the
speed
group.
going through, the bigger the group, the faster that speed will be, the shorter the time will be. Really does mix it, but it also shows you how close these categories are and how important it is to be in the draft too. Interestingly, one of the fast riders, Christos Lasno, 1,044 was 1,088 for Rick Van Uyck. Joel Warren actually with the fastest time through at the moment in Category 5, 1,263 watts average across the 200 metres, averaging 13.3 watts per kilo for a 200-metre sprint.
Warren we've seen him week in, week out be really strong in the sprints, and it's great to see. This is a Category 4 race. They're at 6.7 kilometres. They're on the early stages of the Quarter Kia. This is the first of the two climbs combined within that Quarter Kia climb. They go up this first section. It's currently 1.9, 1.8%. So this is a less steep section, should we say. Very shortly on that top right-hand corner, you can see that section where it starts to kick, and it kicks to 12. Well, actually, I say 12%. It kicks to 17%. and it goes really steep at the very top of this section. Then they descend, and then they kick again before that polka dot banner. It's a multi-staged climb, and this Category 4 pack, look how tight they are across the road at the moment. It looks like 3 or 4 riders just distance off the back of the group, but Harvey, Roca, Largo, Cadiz, Marin, Mukhtari, Kendall, all in here. Cy Bradley is there as well. And there is Mohamed Mukhtari in Category 4 in the group. We've seen him riding really, really strongly. He's one of those riders who has come up from Category 5. And personally, Matt, his performances over the last 4 or 5 weeks, he really, this is where he needs to be.
Yes, I think he's got the potential to go probably at least another couple of categories higher with consistent training and speed and pace. I think his rate of improvement is good, and I think it's going to continue onwards. We'll have to see how he goes today as we watch Peter Connell go through underneath the Thistlehoven Molen sprint. That's a windmill sprint for those people whose Dutch is not up to par. Don't worry, I don't know it either. I had to go on to Google Translate. So the Thistlehoven Molen is a windmill. That's Thistlehoven Molen. It's brilliant, isn't it?
It's brilliant. Love it. So 24 riders in that Category 6 leading pack. Through that sprint, Peter Connell picking up the fastest time. Simon Llewellyn in 2, Yarvanen in 3, Milano in 4, and Teron in 5.
And whoever is wearing the green skin suit at the stage is going to be taken away because we only have
2 sprints.
2 sprints. It is a pair of sprints, 2 sprints, both sprints going through 300 meters long. Not 200, as I said earlier, 300 meters long. So 2 lots of sprints at 300 meters. In 600 meters, you can pick up 2 segment prizes and the overall win in that sprints competition.
Well,
all the prize structure on the MyWhoosh website. So go to mywhoosh.com, go to the events page, and go on to the main. No, don't look at each individual race qualifiers, but actually go to the main page.
Well, at the moment in Category 3 on the right-hand side of your screen, we've got a 2-man breakaway. Kukirski and Arago just pushing on here. They're at 5.3 kilometers. The Kortekir starts at 6K. So this is an attack into the climb. Whether this is to get sliding room because they don't think they're the strongest climbers, or whether this is to establish a gap before they start climbing because they think they are the strongest climbers, time will tell. But the pack rolling strongly behind and no one really giving chase. Category 4 on the left-hand side of your screen, they're up and over the first section of the Kortekir onto the descent into the dell before they start that final climb. We can see on the top right-hand corner the polka dot banner signifying the start of the climb around the right-hand corner. This Category 3 pack rolling steadily towards it and not bothered, Matt, about the 2-man breakaway up the road.
I think increasingly it's very difficult to get a breakaway in because because the competition is so close, so tight. It's not impossible, but it is incredibly difficult to do. You need strength in depth. You need to be on good form as well. I think the other thing is that when you're used to riding, so Kukirski has moved down from Category 2 into Category 3, if I'm not much mistaken. And I'm just doing a quick check. Nicholas Arago hasn't. I think Kukirski, one of the things that's happening, he's used to racing faster with a bunch initially. And you think, right, okay, well, let's go. Let's take this. It's a great opportunity as you move down a category to say, well, maybe this is the time for me. We will see. This is the category he's left. This is Category 2. So we see our teams here today, a real raft of teams. Abu Dhabi, a team led by the legend in his own lifetime, that is Ivan Nuki of Uganda. The smartest squad, though, are the biggest squad here with Bengston, Thiem, Ritter, Damsgaard and Walter. 4 Germans, 1 Norwegian and a Denmark rider in the mix for them. Danish rider. In there. And Danish shows associated with pastries, not riders. We got the Hitman represented by Tatu Koistunen from Finland, and of course Union Speed from Canada with Bruce Bird. But for the UAE, for the United Arab Emirates, we have our UAE Falcons, Ahmed Al Taji and Zaid Hamdan, and then the UAE Clam team, whose rider SS today, I would imagine, will be right up there. Team of 3, Mr. X100, Pablo Popovic, and SS, the rider, I think, for me, who's most suited to this course. But you can't discount Mistakes 100 either of that UAE Clan team. They have differing strengths which complement each other well. But for me, the explosivity of SS, this course is for him.
Oh, this course, I think this course could be for so many different people. I honestly can look at this start sheet today. So 47 riders on the start sheets in Category 2. I am just going to tell you the top 5 teams in Category 2 men in the final last week. Open your ears because this is phenomenal. 27 seconds separated the top 5 teams. Not the top 5 riders, the top 5 teams last week. It was that close in Category 2. The juggle of the categories this month has really shaken things up. So 12 Category 1 riders have come back down to Category 2. We saw huge amounts of progression, and Category 1 swelled to nearly 40 riders last month. The realignment has brought a number of riders back down. Toward Alan Jung is, you can see him there, comfortably sat in the pack. This is a steady start from Category 2. He's in the mix, but Bruce Bird, Alvarado, Burke and Kayan come down. Jeffrey Miller comes down. Joel Lewis, Josel Betty, Lucas Hayland, Moss Antrojanowski, he's one to watch on this course. Mikel Manchado comes down. Paul Skirski, he's another one to watch on this course. And Peter Trzeski come down. Riders coming up from Category 3, Patterson, Kochkov, Kansara, Cahill and Kennett. Kennett has made his way from Category 6 to Category 5, Category 4, Category 3, and has now come into Category 2. Dylan Kennett, if you are listening, I win the bet. I told you you'd make Category 2. You told me you wouldn't. But he is here. Maurice Ritter took second place last week for the Smarties. He's here as well as Anders Bengtsson. Nicole Damsgaard, I think, will go well today too. We're in with him on your screen. So many of these riders could take the win here today. This is going to be one cracking Category 2 race.
And collaborations and teams are going to be, I think, on this course really do play their part, because whilst on the ascents it is about being a good climber, you can save so much energy if you are not the rider chasing down any moves on the flatter sections. So if you chase everything that moves, you're just going to expend so much energy. The big squad, the smartest squad, Bengtsson team, Ritter, Damsgaard and Walter, they can play this smart. They don't need to send people chasing, everything. They can think about what they do, but they also could sacrifice one or two riders potentially on chasing and save one or two of their good climbers for the ascending and the attacking. It's good to see Ivan Nuki coming back. It's one big sprint from him coming down in here. And Ivan Nuki is he's a really, for one of the nicest guys in cycling.
I know.
He's one of the.
You say that every week.
I wish, because
but
it's
it is so true.
Because it's true. He also is one of those riders who is prepared to have a go, be aggressive, put in those attacks, and really shake the racing up. So interesting to see. As they came through, though, Paul Skirski taking away top spot in that sprint, one of the big kickers. But for me, where they are as they've come through here, really, really critical in terms of sprint positions.
Can I just say, Tati Koiston is on our screen, and I think I just spied, indeed, I spied Mina. Doesn't Mina have... Well, I'm going to say congratulations to start with for the new member of the Koinston family.
Yes.
Which is absolutely brilliant. And I think Mina may be holding the said new member of the Koinston family. There we go, watching the Sunday Race Club. Such a great congratulations to the family. Really, really wonderful to see. And cheering dad on from an early age.
That's what you call bringing your kids up, right? Get them to the bike race like in their first few weeks of life. That's, subliminally influence the next generation of racers. There you go.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move across from great news to Category 1, which are also good news of a very different sort. None of these weeks old, a lot of these riders with some serious bike experience, racing and watching. The Alpha Jaw squad full of experience, Churek, Vujasic, Kaminsky and Jones, up against the Boss Moves. Only 3 riders from them this week, Osborne, Knudsen and Vink. Puka and Plantero riding for the Farm Watt squad, and we have Wi-Fi U in there for the HNSVE. Letters always make my life difficult when I haven't had enough coffee. Let's see if these riders are fueled up on their espressos or whether on decaf today. Who's going to have the power in their legs? We're in with Linda Milostic in Category 1. And interesting news for the Milostic family
because
in Category 1.
Peter Milostic has come up from Category 2. So
well, I'm
father,
not surprised.
No,
He's
neither am I.
been annihilating people in some of the Masters races. He's
Father and
incredible.
son now both in Category 1. And I'll tell you something, after watching the Australian national champs, my question is Dad going to be riding for Lyndon in Category 1 as a, bit of a help out there? It's going to be really interesting. But he's not the only rider to come up from Category 2. Well, I do think he's probably going to be focusing on his own race. But Godzari comes up from Category 2. So does Ospina. Patrick Stepanak comes up as well as Ross Fawcett. So fabulous to see those 5 riders coming up as part and parcel of that realignment. A number of riders moving down. But Osborne took the win last week, and that's an interesting one because he also holds the course record here on this course in Belgium. But I think it really does suit some of the other riders here as well. And it's going to be really interesting to see. New Welsh rider as well in the mix in Category 1 today.
Go on.
Kerry Pritchard.
Yes, bit of a living legend. I've raced against Kerry Pritchard.
Have you?
Well, I say raced against him. I think I was in the last 10th of the field and he took the win. He's an absolute time trialing legend in when it comes to UK time trial scene. Bit of a tech geek like me, so always had the kit that made him go quicker. He was a rider who was smart with that as well, and great at pacing himself as well. So, a distance record holder and things like that. So, going to be interesting to see how he gets on today. And that class's permanent thing is very much true of Pritchard here today. He's certainly a rider. I don't think you could discount at any point whether this course suits him. Wales is a hilly, it's not flat.
No,
there's not much flat in Wales.
There's not a lot of flat in Wales.
Even the sections where you're down on maybe the estuaries, you're not on there for long before you're climbing back out on the other side. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he goes through and how he copes with that.
And great to see a Welsh Dragon
yes.
in Category 1.
Yes. That may be his nickname. It won't be the first or last time he's probably had that. So, Category 1 heading into towards the first sprinter who are we going to see putting down some power here to pick up that sprint already. Just seen a little bit of a stretch on the front of the group. And looks like Kerry Pritchard already getting some support on the YouTube channel as well. I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes. We'll keep an eye. We may even just bring you his result wherever he is in the race, whether he's at the front. Now, big sprint coming. Seeing riders go from back to front here. Just looking to see who it is who's gone off the very front of the race here, because I suspect we're going to see Donton Simmons up there somewhere. Who's going? Is it Donton? It's Ruben Donton here. Paradines is there. Joseph there. Oh, Paradines goes. Donton goes with him, but Paradines, he didn't want to let that go, did he? Jasper Paradines has got a phenomenal sprint.
He has indeed. He's got the most amazing sprint, 16.7 watts per kilo average. Absolutely class from Jasper Paradines, taking the fastest time, 18.083. But Paul Skierski, Category 2, Rick Van Eert, Category 3, setting great times as well. So does Joel Warren in Category 5. Hugo Jones, Category 4, takes it with 19.3, and Joachim Skretting in Category 6, 18.7. Look at those times. Absolutely phenomenal sprinting right the way across all 6 of our categories.
And just for those people who are going 16.7 watts per kilo, that's phenomenal. Let's put that into context. All the riders have to do a weigh-in. All of our riders have to have a high specification turbo trainer that not only that has an auto self calibration on it. It also has to be within 1% of being accurate, and so there's very little variation in there. So you're reading accurate power and weight, but we've got to remember that 16 plus watts per kilo is across a 200-meter sprint. Now, in a 200-meter sprint, to give you some kind of context there, that is nothing as compared to the 25 plus watts per kilo that somebody like Chris Hoy could kick
out on the track.
On the track. In a Madison where you are going, or a points race where you're repeatedly sprinting, those numbers are not surprising. And even at the end of a Tour de France stage where you've done what could be 220k, that's not out of the way at all for a good sprinter.
Well, Marcin Trojanowski is the rider we were in with there, seeing him in the mixing Category 2. He's got Quintero, Guerra, Cansara, Kane, Thiem, Mileur all around him at the front of this Category 2 pack. He's exactly where you would expect him to be. They're pushing on at the 7 kilometre mark, coming towards the steepest section of the Quarter Keer climb. Did you know the first time the Quarter Keer climb was used in the Tour of Flanders was in 1988?
Oh, I'd like to say I remember the 1988 Tour of Flanders as well, but I don't. I don't, because it wasn't on telly then in the UK. You could only get it by seeing some very dodgy old Belgian tapes that somebody had shipped across the continent from the continent, because you couldn't actually get the coverage in the UK. I mean, it's amazing what you can see now. And I was talking to a fellow commentator actually on Wednesday night, and they were saying that that on one day, not all that long ago, they had 8 different men's races on simultaneously. They were showing.
It's amazing, isn't
in
it?
one go.
Yeah. Well, Con Cairn is in the mix here, and I'll tell you something. The Cairn brothers, I think, will go well today. This is the type of course that suits them, and I say that because they are both strong sprinters, and the length of the climbs today really balance between climbers and sprinters, and both are on a more even keel today. Matthijs Van He is a strong rider in here as well, and he too is towards the 4 of the group. They're coming up towards the top of the Quarter Keer, and you can see on the top right hand corner, I love this graphic because it can really show you what's happened to the pack on the climb. Big group at the front, 2 riders off the back, then you can see further smaller groups back down the climb as the leading pack starts to shed riders. Well, SS is right at the front of the Category 2 pack, and he's exactly where Matt says he would be when we started the race. He does hold the course record in Category 2, set earlier on this year, 65 minutes, 40 seconds.
He's the thing for me about SS is not only can he sprint and climb well, but he's got some great explosivity, and for me, that explosivity allows him to kick clear and then hold the pace. He allows him to put the pain on, put the hurt on, without having to do long efforts. He can do it very quickly, and that's what makes the difference. Now, when you compare that to Category 1 here, Jason Osborne's got a kick, but in some ways it's not as explosive as SS is.
Well,
and what he can do, where we see, Osborne go, he kicks and then it's not as high, but he's then able to hold, and that is the key thing.
Now, what
for
I've
me.
been finding really interesting recently in the last couple of Sunday Race Clubs is Osborne's timing. Osborne, for me, when I look at the overall races, Osborne, for me, is looking for an hour's hard ride.
Yep.
And he is going at the point in the race where he thinks he has 60 minutes. And in this case, it's at the 5 kilometre marker as they head into the Quarter Keer. And he's probably about right. The course record is 61 minutes on here. He holds it. So this is a 60-minute race. And if you want a 60-minute hard ride, you need to go early.
And that's the one thing. I mean, we always need to remember that the racing is still, your body doesn't know whether it's racing or it's training. It's just doing a hard effort. And it's what you want the effect to be. Riders now are thinking about MyWhoosh Championships coming up in August. You've got 8 days of, you've 8 days, because we've got 7 days of stages with a Sunday Race Club thrown into the middle of that as well. So, there isn't a race day. You don't get a race day either, Emma, sorry. It is racing. It might be easier. Then you come out the other side of that. And very quickly, you're going to be switching for qualifying for World Championships, which is a very different format and a different style of racing. And that is going to be really critical for me. And I think in Category 1 and in Category 2, to a lesser degree, Category 3, 4, and 5, you're going to see riders start to switch their focus so that they're racing. And this is where, coming back to your original point of 60 minutes, you're using your Sunday Race Club not only to race but to train simultaneously for the races you want to be able to perform in. SS does this, I think, for me all the time. He puts down race performances that are in there. Olivier Simmons the same. Olivier Simmons' performances are honed here on the Sunday Race Club, and you see that time and time again. He's able to put the kick in, he's able to put the pace in, he's improving all the time with it. Category 2 performances now are at a level that we saw from Category 1 only a few years ago, because the racing is that hard. Now riders are improving, and Simmons is one of them.
And actually they are all pulling each other along. Class riders come from training and racing with the big group. When you think about the Kenyan runners, when you think about those types of things. They train elite runners training in big groups, coaches bringing them all together, and week in, week out, they live together, they race together, they train together. And that's what brings the elite riders on. And this is the same on the Sunday Race Club. These elite riders, they're forming bonds, they're racing with each other, they're training with each other every single week. We saw it. Well, if you follow Hayden Pucker and Jason Osborne on social media, you'll know that Hayden Pucker flew over from the USA to spend 2 weeks in Spain with Jason Osborne, training together.
And it makes a difference. That motivation that you get from riding with people who are quicker than you. Now, all these guys, all the top level riders in the men's and the women's field are of such a level that actually what separates them on a training ride, on a ride, is where do they actually want to go hard? And somebody will always push you where you wouldn't necessarily push yourself when you're on a ride or on a race.
But also, what you have to remember is when you are training with other people, it is training. It doesn't matter if you are slower in training. It's not the race. Those are two very different places. And I always used to think that was really interesting, because if you've been riding with a club, you'll know week in, week out, there's the rider on the Sunday Club run who thinks the Sunday Club run is a race and they have to get back to the club hut first. But when it comes to the race, they're not at the front. Those are two very different things, and you do have to keep those in mind. But Ollie Jones is one rider who knows exactly where the race is and where he needs to be.
Yep, right over the top of the first part of the Qualifier climb in the front part of the group, which is what he's done. There are riders who have been distanced, but we've still got Justin, Pucker, Jones, Vinker. We've got the key riders in the mix at the front here, and Osborne just hovering at the back dangerously. Again, Michael Knudsen in here. Saw some interesting news from Michael Knudsen through the week. Michael Knudsen's going to launch a YouTube channel with some great cycling content on there of rides and so on. So really
could be inspired to watch that. He does a lot of riding in Switzerland. It's very beautiful there.
Well, I have to say, one of my highlights of being at the World Championships in Abu Dhabi was actually meeting Michael Knudsen, and he was. Because you see riders, and some riders are all over social media all the time, and so you get an idea of them. Michael's not necessarily one of those riders who's out there pushing in people's faces, and it was really great to see somebody behind who you maybe isn't as in your face on social media turn out to be a really, really nice person, and clearly a fearsome competitor.
You can be a rider and a really nice person.
I'm not. Not when I'm riding. I'm horrible to ride with. I am that person that wants to win every sign everywhere every time.
Nobody go on a club run with that. Well, at 12.3 kilometres, the Category 2 pack are coming in for the Tissenhoven-Malvern sprint. And you can see already a push coming from the back of the group, really starting to move. It's the polka dot skin suit that's doing it. And we said sprints and climbing. Olivier Simmons is the rider in Category 2 with that polka dot skin suit, showing he was the fastest rider up the Qualifier climb. He's now trying to be the fastest rider through the Tissenhoven-Malvern sprint.
Well, were his legs going as fast as a wind turbine, or were they turning up the speed of a grain windmill? Two very different.
Pal Skierski comes through further back in the group.
I was going to say, I suspected you can't go for the sprints, just not something to go for on the front, whereas the climbs are. Now, seeing Jason Osborne, he's left it late on this climb. We're literally coming into that left-hand turn. I think Osborne is going to take away the climb prize here. Knudsen is in pursuit with Fink Jones, along with Wu. I say pursuit. Knudsen is a teammate of Osborne, so I suspect he's just keeping a pace that allows him to go through, put the rest of the riders under pressure without necessarily doing the work.
Well, I was about to say, Michael Knudsen has been going under the radar on the Sunday Race Club recently as well, because he has been walking away with a climbing competition a lot in Category 1. And there you go. Yet again, that push from Knudsen. You need to watch where he is on these climbs, because he does start towards the back and he comes towards the front at the end, and he quietly picks up the climbing competition regularly.
How far back was Michael Knudsen coming into the start of that climb? Given that Jason Osborne went over the line 50, 60 metres in front of him at the top, Knudsen must have been off the back for 100 metres or so.
He is a master of positioning. And do you know what? He did exactly the same He and Saeed Safrazadi in 2023 in the MyWhoosh Championships.
Yes.
They were absolute masters in the climbing competition. And I tell you, you're going to need to watch them in August because Knudsen and Safrazadi's not here today, but both of them seriously know what they're doing when it comes to climbing and the king of the mountains.
And they also know where you've got to push and watch out, because we've got Ollie Jones on the attack. Jones came over that climb within the group, holding some powder dry, and he's now pushed over the top. He's elicited a response from Pucker, from Vink and Co. They're all going in pursuit. They know the danger of Ollie Jones. Jones has had 17 victories on the Sunday Race Club. He's had 17 second places and 22 third places. That is a phenomenal record, and that is why you cannot let Ollie Jones get that breathing room. Michael Vink all over that move. So was Vujasic, so was Osborne.
Well, I'm going to tell you, there are 14 riders in the leading group after the quarter gear in Category 1. Knudsen, Van Elst, Osborne, Tugels, Turek, Vink, Vujasin, Kroll, Kaminsky, Pucker, Jones, Wu, Panizza, and Lyndon Milostic. Those are the 14 riders in the front group.
So riders in Category 1 already whittling that group back down to smaller numbers here, as we see Categories 5 and 6 further out on course. Category 6 at the moment, the furthest riders down the race route, with the leaders at 28.3 kilometres, and that means that they are coming up towards the summit of the Eichenberg climb, the second of our points competition. Not too far behind are the riders in Category 5. They're making their way up and over, and I think at the moment just a little bit further back, but it's not a huge amount. But and I think they're going to be on the way. We're in with the one and only Jeff Rooney at the moment, in with this leading group, as we see a kick coming off the front. People wanting to take away point scores here in Category 6, and this is going to be really critical, because on Category 6 in our very first climb, it was Nielsen from Connell, from McMurtry, Cadabona and Llewellyn, our point scorers in Category 6. Vintner's gone, but look at this. Nielsen is on his heels in that polka dot skin suit. So Vinther goes. Vinther didn't score the points in number 1. He'll score in number 2 here, but is Vinther looking to maybe take this a bit further out? They're leaving Taro, McMurtry, Fabry, Llewellyn and Jose behind. And this, a good kick here. The two Danish riders just stretching out.
It's a long run from the top of the Eichenberg climb to the Quermont, 7.6 kilometres when they get to the top of this climb. But Vinther at the moment, just backing off slightly there. Nielsen, Fabra, Toro, McMurtry, Abbott, Llewellyn.
That was like a missed gear, wasn't it?
It was just like, or a drop bottle. It was just a moment. But Nielsen now pushing on again, and he's got Mads Vinther for company. Vinther is there, and there is the polka dot banner. They are both driving towards the line, back in to the movement. Vinther picking up the charge again. Nielsen, Abbott, surge of adrenaline going on there. Abbott, Llewellyn, McMurtry, Jose, Connell, all in the mix. This is still a good-sized group in Category 6. They're working their way through the King of the Mountains competition as they edge ever closer to the finish line.
So after Nielsen took the win on the very first sprint, he goes through with the second fastest time on the climb. Sorry, now third fastest time on the climb of the Eichenberg climb, because Peter Connell has just jumped over the top. So Connell took second place on climb number 2. Connell took second place on climb number 1, and that has put him into the polka dot skin suit. Now we're in with Maxime Fabre from France in there. Quite warm in France at the moment. We know that from personal experience. And Fabre at the moment, you can see he's got that fan on him. He's right up in this leads group. Will it be a day for Fabre? I mean, if it comes to that final sprint, if he's in there when we come to the sprint, then I certainly wouldn't discount
Do you know there's 15 riders in this leading group? It is a really strong leading group in Category 6. They're at the head of the road, head of the race at the moment at the 30-kilometre marker, 15k to go.
And Maxime Fabre's not had a win yet.
Could there be a theme for the day?
2 second places, 2 third places.
Well, look at this. This is Vujasin, Vink and Jones pushing on here. Hayden Pucker is trying to close this down. They're on the descent at the moment at the 14.5-kilometre marker. And you can see these three riders just pushing on. Hayden Pucker, Mikhail Kaminsky, Stefan Van Elster, the riders leading the charge behind. This group, well, It was a strong group coming up and over the top 14 riders. A bit of a push here. They're starting to pick up some of the riders in Category 2 who started 5 minutes before them.
And Osborne here, very aware, doesn't want to let them go. He has suddenly decided it's time to put the hammer down to get across because there's Jones and there is Fink in that leading group here. The pursuit wasn't coming. They weren't closing it down fast enough for him. He's now gone. He's bridged across to our 3 leaders. What will he do now? Will he sit in on these riders? We've still got some distance to the next kicker. The next climb kicking in at 18.3k. So 3k to go till we get there. And at the moment, Jones, Vijasin, Osborne, and Fink have been joined by Van Elston Co. So that group is coming back together again. It's going to reform. Shut down there by the world champion, Jason Osborne.
Yeah, so the group reforms in Category 1. Category 2, well, they're about 2.5 kilometres further up the road and they are coming at the 18.1 kilometre marker to the Valkenberg. It's not a categorised climb, but you can see the gradient ahead of you. Joel Lewis is 5 seconds up the road. X100 now picking up the mantle to do the chasing. Bruce Bird. Bruce Bird is a strong rider when it comes to closing down gaps, and he's a real determined, resilient rider when it comes to closing down gaps as well.
He's good on breakaway too, so but he's a long distance rider who's ridden in some of the big long distance sporties. So it'd be interesting to see if he's going for that sort of super long distance, transferring that in and just goes for the long ones. It's a great way to stretch the race out, make it hard everywhere, ride the bits where everybody else wants to rest. Nobody's going to be resting though here because 18.6k we are on to the Valkenberg. It is not a categorized climb, but it is the second of our climbs with Lewis up the road. Joel Lewis is. I'm surprised they let Joel Lewis go. If I'm honest, I'm not sure of all the people that you would let go down the road. Joel Lewis is high on that list.
I have an image now in my head of the entire pack go, Mr. Lewis, feel free, away you go.
Well, yeah, he's dangerous, but in part because he's come down from Category 1, and so you know that he's got pace, he's got speed.
Yeah.
And
he's got power because he's contended some of those sprints before.
And yet we've let him go. And is this a case that when riders have gone down that they've not, because there's so many changes to the race fields, they can't keep a track of all of them. There's a lot of preparation work going in here in the studio so that we can try and keep a track on the riders, and we're not having to do it whilst we're racing.
I don't think they spend as long in the office prepping the Sunday Race Club.
I hope they've got a life and get out far more often. To be
well,
honest.
At the moment on your screen, you've got Michael Vink and Lionel Vujasin on the left-hand side pushing on in Category 1, and Knudsen is closing the gap down. They're coming up on those back markers in Category 2, and they're utilising that opportunity. They're utilising the draft to attack, and they're utilising the fact that they're running into the next climber. So Vujasin and Vink closed down by Knudsen. The rest of the group coming through as well. This is a real battle going on in Category 1 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. They're at 17.7 kilometres. 19.4 is where Category 2 leaders are. Big pack, absolutely rolling strongly.
And Category 5 and 6 already over the Eichenberg climb as well. Now, huge amount of riders actually, and they're staying clear quite well at the moment. Category 5 and Category 6, we've already seen 69 riders in those two categories go over the top of the Eichenberg climb, which means that they're now further on than that 29-kilometre marker. So that's a lot of riders up the road that are still to be closed down by the riders in the categories that set off later. And I think we may struggle we may see these groups not pull the groups back. We may not see the overlapping that we sometimes see on some of the other courses, partly because this is a hard race route. This is a route that suits a sprinter, suits somebody who can climb, who's got some all-round strength and ability. We see that from Matthias Van Heek.
Love it.
Matthias, thank you very much. On cue. Well done, buddy. Cooling down, no ice vest. Today he's going for the bottle down the back of the neck. The evaporation is going to make all the difference.
I did a mountain bike race once and it was really, really hot, a national series race. And there were 2 pits. In one of the pits, I chose to take on board hydration. And in the second pit, I chose to take on board open water bottles to drench myself in every time I went past that pit.
always to be done with care when you're sitting on top of a bike that's connected to a turbo trainer that's connected to the mains.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the riders go through, hopefully not on 240 volts and or whatever your local voltage is through the mains. Hopefully they're all keeping themselves safe. Lynn, the rider going through, taking the polka dot skin suit for scoring the most points so far. On the Eichenberg climb, actually second in terms of timing to Giuliano. It was Giuliano, Yulin, then Stevenson, Harvey, and Brooke, your point scorers in category 4, going over the top of the climb. In category 5, it was Jenny Abello from Gonzalez, Strill, Loxley, and Pulaka, the point scorers. And in category 6, Vinther, Connell, Nielsen, Abbott, and Llewellyn. Those are the riders that have taken the points so far on our second categorized climb. That is the Eichenberg climb, with one more climb to come, and basically just a descent and a long flat run into it.
Yeah, it is indeed. Well, Martin Wang is the rider we're watching at the moment. On the front of the Category 5 pack, Diego Vargas, David Winfield leading the charge behind with Rod Loxley. This pack all rolling. Look at the size of these groups, 32.5 kilometres. They are into this 45-kilometre race. It's a big group. It's a long transition, this section, 7.6 kilometres from the top of the Eichenberg climb to the base of the Quermont climb. They come into that Quermont climb. That's 2.2k. They then descend. They then drop into what is the wall of the Pattenberg, 400 metres at just shy of 12% average gradient. There's then a flat section at the top and then another kicker before they get to the finish line. Now, the Pattenberg, for me, is one of those sections that can really break this race if a group comes in.
Yes, it really does smash it apart. You've got to have the legs. Just taking a very quick look there, because we've got a quick view of category 6 there with a little bit of a break. John Wakefield going clear at the front. Two riders just going clear. It's only a few seconds, but where they are on course, they're just about to come in. After having said it was basically flat from the descent of the Eichenberg climb into the next climb, the Quermont, there's one little tiny step. Wakefield and Co just going a little clear just before it, so maybe that will help them out.
Well,
now,
this is the top of the Valkenberg.
It is, and this is category 1 leaders, and at the moment Pucker is in there, so clearly been refreshing himself with the fizzy drinks before his racing after having watched the women's
He's been
race.
going well. You know, he finished really strong last week. He was going for a top 3 and just blew at the very final stages. And really, really interesting and great to see him really coming onto some form. Jason Osborne now going over the top and putting a dig in as they come down towards the descent off of the Valkenberg. They'll then go in towards the Eichenberg Hill and the Eichenberg climb, those two climbs that come in quick succession. But Michael Fink closing that down really quickly. You are not getting away, Mr. Osborne.
The speed, power, and pace that you put in over the summit of the climb on this course is of increasing importance the further through the course you get. The Kortekia, climb number 1, you've got basically a long, long descent off that, where you've got flat sections where the group can come back together again. The Valkenberg, when you go over the Valkenberg, you've got a long flat section on top. It's okay through between the reservoirs there before you drop back down again. You then go on to the Eichenberg Hill. That's a rolling, so it rolls over the top quite quickly. You then go to the Eichenberg climb where it's a knife edge summit, and you've got a quick drop down, and that's what you've got here. This is what comes after. They go through the banner, they go onto the top, and already they're descending, and it picks up pace very quickly. It's steep, it's quick into the descent, but it's short.
Well, Holweiler takes that from Kiesnowski.
And I'm just going to finish the point here. When you go to Quermont, the summit point is exactly the same. You've got to go over it quickly, but it's a longer descent. So you've got that increasing importance of getting sharper summits, and then the sharp summit with a big descent on the way down. As they went over the top there, Emma, those riders over the top are riders who know this course, aren't they?
Yeah, they are indeed. Well, I tell you what, there's a lot of riders who know this course, but I think that's 32 riders in that category 3 pack, and I am like, I can't quite believe I've counted that many, but I have.
And you said that was Holweiler from Kiesnowski, who went over the top first.
From Andrade, from Kalman, from Goodall.
So they scored the points on climb number 2. And look at this, Jason Osborne here. Jungfrau we see Jungfrau with Osborne regularly. It's really, really interesting to see. He's very quick to respond. He's very, very quick to climb.
Yeah, and for any of our viewers who've been watching for some time, Marshall Wu, Yungfei Wu, same rider, just adjusting the name on the game to come up slightly differently here. But yeah, we've been seeing him, and he come into the Sunday Race Cup, and he's been getting stronger and stronger. He took second place to Osborne last week on Wollongong in the final. Really, really strong. I think he could well take a win one day. Pucker as well. He's got that performance. He's got that ability too. But Pucker, Vink, Jones, Wu, Vu, Yasin, Osborne, nobody is giving this up without a fight in Category 1 today. This is going to be a real battle. There's none of this, Osborne and Vink have gone down the road and we've got a 10-kilometre climb. Well, that's just how it is. This is any one of us can win this today. We're in Belgium and we are all going to battle for it. Well, Category 2 on our screen at the moment, coming up to the 25-kilometre marker. Big pack here as they continue to roll. At the 25-kilometre marker, this is the Eichenberg Hill before the Eichenberg climb. This is not a categorised climb, and it's a steadier pace. They are pushing on. They're all zone 5. We're in with Trojanoski at the moment. Skierski, Van Hee, Bengston, Betty, Santo. Mark Santo, I think, holds the course record. No, wrong course. Not quite sure where I picked that up from. Mark Gates holds the course record in Category 3. I may well have been mistaken with my marks. But Category 2 rolling strongly here as they continue to push as one very large group here in Belgium.
In with Si Carradine, one of our regular riders in here, just behind Simon Walter. And his is one of those names that when I saw our start sheet, just double checked who was in. I thought, Walter, Belgium, good chances here. He's a rider who I think could excel in here. Carradine again, Trojanoski, and as you said, dubbing for our categories, I think it is very open because no one skill set here comes to the fore. It's not like you're on a 15k climb and you've got to be able to climb or you aren't going to be in it, or it's going to be flat and it's one short climb. You can't do it. You need to be an all-rounder like Si Carradine, who we know has got that ability.
Yeah, well, you can see the fan is absolutely rolling in Carradine's face.
And the windows are open.
The windows are open. Get that breeze in. He's dancing on those pedals in real life, and he's in this lead group on the Sunday Race Club. In this leading group as they come towards the top of the climb here in this Category 2 pack. The birds are watching.
Flamingos. I don't know if you get flamingos in Morocco. Sad if you do, let me know. Our Moroccan rider on the left, our flamingos on the right. Flapping, no flapping.
Do you get flamingos in Belgium? Not by the side of the road.
No, you get them generally on the southern European coast in the Mediterranean. So things like the Camargue and the areas like that. That's sort of the most famous area for them. That sort of wetland. But you might get. It is possible, I suppose, to get them in the wetlands by the Meuse in Belgium. Showing a very sad knowledge of flamingos, wetlands, and European geography there. Let's get back to the racing whilst Emma's busy Googling the natural territory of flamingos.
In Belgium.
As Michael Vink is on the front here, stretching his legs at 8 watts per kilo, left-hand side of your screen. Ollie Jones responded, 7.8 watts per kilo for him, 7.7 for Kaminsky, Osborne, Vajasin, Wu, all in the mix here, and they are starting to distance riders. It looks like Knudsen is nicely tucked into this group. He moves up, doesn't want to be sat last man in this pack. Turek now last in the pack, and I think this has done the damage to Van Els. Van Els has lost contact, and so has Turek. I think Turek now gone off the back of the group, so another rider being shed here as the push comes on the front. Osborne winding it up on the front. Pucker responding with Justin Fink. Kaminsky now answering the move being made by Jason Osborne as they come up over the top here. This push critical. The riders in Category 1 at the moment at 25.5 kilometres, 25.6 now. They continue to push in Category 1. Category 2, it looks like Mr. X100 is pushed down over the summit into the base of the climb. He wants to drive on into this climb and make this two climb a wonder that is the Eichenberg Hill and the Eichenberg climb. The one climb wonder. Now, let's just very quickly, whilst Mr. 100 is being chased down by Category 2, Emma, let's get this over and done with. The geographical spread and breeding grounds of the flamingo, please.
Well, some flamingos do live in Europe. In Europe, the greater flamingo is found in Cyprus, France, Gibraltar, Greece, and Italy. And
southern coast of the
did
European
you
continent.
know that flamingos live from 20 to 30 years? Some have been known to live up to 50 years old.
Amazing birds, fantastic. And on the south coast, so in the Camargue in France, being one of them.
And obviously the Caribbean and South America.
Yes, because they are basically
The Bahamas.
Yes, an equatorial bird.
Yes, but you know.
There we go.
Learn something new every day.
You do indeed. Now, Mark Santo out of the saddle here in Category 2, nicely tucked into this group. And another of those riders, I think, Mark, that has a habit of going under the radar at the moment. I'm not sure for how much longer that is going to be the case for him, because he's nicely tucked into the pack. He's keeping out of the way and holding that powder dry. Whether he's going to be able to do that for much longer, we will have to see, because at the moment, certainly looking like he's keeping position well. Santo, a rider who has, he's got quite a lot of rides on the Sunday Race Club, and initially came into the Sunday Race Club December of 2024 in Category 1. He's now been in Category 2 for some while, and we're going to see, I think, whether he can move his way back up again. Just with Jussi Palaka in Category 5 here, as we see Tapia, Gonzalez, Strail, Palaka, Abello, all in the mix at the front. Loxley's in his, so is home. These riders front of the group, slowly working their way up to Leonard Cadabona. He's the rider in Category 6. He's going to see them coming on his left-hand side, and it means these riders chasing down the leaders in front, and the riders in front, they are all Category 6 riders, because this is the front of the Category 5 race.
It is indeed, and they really are pushing on here towards the top of the Quermont. Category 6 over the top of the Quermont. They are the leaders on the road. At the moment, will that Category 5 pack catch them? That is the question. Well, this is the leaders in the Category 2 race, and they too are pushing on at the 28.7 kilometre marker. They are not that far behind. You know, this is the Eichenberg climb, and it is Olivier Simmons in the polka dot skin suit side by side with SS and X100. They're 2 seconds clear of Nikolai Damsgaard. Giselle Betty is in there in the mix. So is Carlos Ramirez. They are not too far behind. And very, very shortly, I think we're going to see those riders come back together again. This is the polka dot banner. This is the top of the Eichenberg climb. SS is fighting Simmons for that polka dot skin suit. Oh, I think Simmons is going to hold it. But those riders go over the top ahead of the chasing group. You can see the pack behind. They will come back into contention. It is now a 7.6 kilometre transition to the base of the Quermont for Category 2. I expect this group to reform. I'm just taking a look. I think that is 27 riders in that Category 2 leading group.
It's a lot less than that in the lead of Category 1. Vujasin, Kaminski, Knudsen, Jones, Osborne, Vink, Wu. That's 7 riders, and you can see on your screen 7 riders at the moment with Vujasin in there. Just going to take a little bit of a look, but I'm pretty sure it is now going to be one of these 7 who are going to take away victory, because getting back on is going to be very, very difficult with the amount of power and speed available to this group together. If they work together, even if they were riding individually, so difficult to get back together again. Now, Knudsen in the polka dot skin suit will want to take away top spot. I'm sure he came into this climb at the back of the group. He's going to go over at the front of the group here, and that should cement for him the segment prizes and the overall climb prize. The Eichenberg done. Knudsen with the fastest time from Vujasin, Osborne, Kaminski, and Wu. And that means that Knudsen has sealed himself that polka dot skin suit, subject to somebody putting in a flyer from behind.
Jones, Vink, and Pucker are also in that group. 8 riders. riders in the leading group in Category 1. Top of the Eichenberg climb, though, it's Knudsen in Category 1 who takes the King of the Mountains, Simmons in Category 2, Hollweiler in Category 3, Brune in Category 4, Skjolra in Category 5, and Winter in Category 6.
And Category 4 going through faster than Category 3 of that climb shows the differences in the race pace at that point in time. So clearly some aggressive racing earlier, and maybe the riders in Category 3 just paying that price on that second part of that pair of Eichenberg hills.
Well, take a look, Knudsen now moving towards the back of the group. That's a little bit of recovery going on there, making sure he's comfortably in the draft after picking up and securing that polka dot skin suit.
I don't think he's going to be dislodged when we hit the Quermont climb. That is the last climb of the 3, and I suspect he's not going to be dislodged. Meanwhile, much further down the road, already over the top of the Quermont climb and down into the descent, heading for the Paterberg, is Mads Vintner. Now, he's clear of Toro, Milano, Jose, Fabra, Olsen. 8 seconds to gap for Mads at the moment.
Wow.
This is a good move. He's got to be able to sprint over the Paterberg, though, Emma, in front of this group. And we know from experience, this is a climb that is tricky to judge because of what comes after it.
Yeah, it's a make or break climb. It really is. So the Paterberg 400 meters, an average gradient of 11.7. It kicks to 14%. It is so short, but so steep, and riders can get it right. They can get it wrong. And Toro at the moment, and Jose, Milano, Rooney, Fabra, Dadson, the riders in this chase group are hoping Mads Vinther has got his pacing wrong. But they're all now on the Paterberg climb, heading towards the finish of this race. They've got 2K to go here in Belgium, and the gap is now closing to Mads Vinther. He went into the Paterberg in the lead. He's got 4 seconds now, and look at that pack. They are wide across the road, and it's Jeff Rooney, the first man to Everest on MyWhoosh, Category 6, leading the charge, knocking the seconds off of Vinther's lead.
So Rooney really putting in a big shift there to pull back the race leader. Then Fabra's just come over the top, followed by Peter Connell. So Maxime Fabra, then Peter Connell closing down. Vinther's still holding this, though, at the front here. This is critical now. You've got to be in it as it goes over the top of the climb. Closing down the lead group, almost impossible. This kick is key. You can see how much work Rooney's doing to stay with this group. These chasers need to push on here. Nielsen and Vinther have to close down our leading riders, and at the moment I think we're going to see that lead group continue to push. Abra winding over the top, just eases off on those pedals. Who's got something left in the legs? Can they break those riders who are just getting on the back and go clear, or are they going to let them come back in again?
Well, there's a handful of seconds between the top riders here in Category 6 as they come up towards the 1.5 kilometres to go banner. They are on the flatlands at the moment. One more climb on the run in. Getting this climb and the sprint timed right is key.
So we go round this left-hand turn. We go round a right-hand turn. It basically is relatively level on the run in. And then you get that climb Emma's talking about. I'm not sure. It's almost a rise, isn't it? Rather than a climb per se, because it's a good gradient. It's sort of 5-6%, but it's not very long. It's only a couple of, well, it's not even a couple of hundred meters, about 150 meters. But it is so difficult then to judge the run into it, that climb, and then the 250 meter sprint.
And we've seen people get their timing wrong.
So many times we've seen riders sort of almost think they've made it or blow on that section. So Category 6 will be the first riders home. They're on the left-hand side of your screen. That leading pack all together has come around the right. Long straight, right-hand turn, and then it climbs, left-hand turn, and it's a flat run to the finish. Can Simon Llewellyn nail this?
This is fabulous.
Nervous
this
moments.
Is cat and mouse. Nervous moments. Llewellyn. Well, he's looking to see who's going to jump first. Does he go from the back of the group? Does he launch an attack? At what point do you launch an attack? Do you go long? Do you go short? They're coming into the climb at the moment. Sometimes you think it's a race to go long, and actually your legs just don't want to respond. But Jose, Rooney, Toro, Llewellyn, Fabra, Vinther, Connell, all in this leading group.
And these riders can't wait too late You can't let everybody go and then pull them back. You've got to be at the right place, right time. You've got to be watching for where that sprint goes. Where does the kick go? Where's the power going on? They're out of the saddle. They're now starting to kick. This will be critical. It rises to the left-hand turn. We go through past that conically roofed tower and around onto the straights. This is key.
Well, Fabro's pushing here, and you can see, but Abbott's absolutely in the lead here. Llewellyn's coming, Jose's there, Vinther's there. Drew Abbott leading the charge at the moment. They've got 500 metres to go, 400 metres to go here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. This is July qualifier race number 1. We are in Belgium. Simon Llewellyn now comes to the front of the group. Big push from Llewellyn. Saw him on our screens just a few seconds ago. Vinther, who's been right at the front of this race for some time, with Fabra now coming to the fore. Simon Llewellyn is going to go underneath the gates to the city with 300 metres, 200 metres to go. Has he done enough? Can he hold the pack from behind? Vinther and Fabra, they are coming fast and hard behind. Maxime Fabra launches the sprint at 10 watts per kilo. That's the UCI banner. Can Llewellyn hold it? Is Maxime Fabra going to come over the top? I think he is. Fabra takes it. The Frenchman pipping the rider Llewellyn on the line.
What a run for the line. Well, I did say earlier on, if Maxime Fabra's in there with a group, he could come down to the sprint, and that is what happened. Very close indeed. We'll round up those results for you in a second, because already onto this same climb into the finish come Category 5 with Philip Strill ahead of Mortek, Gonzalez, Sanchez and Balaka, but they're coming at speed, and they've gone over the top of the race leader, as it was with Mortek leading into the left-hand turn.
Well, Mortek is leading it, but Sanchez is there. So is Holmes, so is Strill, so is Edwards, so is Brambati. These riders absolutely nailing it. Alalusa is there as well. He's the rider on the front of the pack here as they come towards the top of the climb. They've still got 300 metres to go. The sprint will be unleashed very shortly. Brambati, Alalusa, Sanchez, Holm. Alalusa continues to lead this, but William Brambati is the rider coming. Mortek is there. Mortek is pushing on too. 3 riders in a line. Alalusa, Brambati and Sanchez. That's the UCI banner. This is a sprint. Sanchez picks it up. Sanchez comes up and over the top of Brambati. Can he make Alalusa? Yes, he can. And there's a response coming from behind. Alalusa picks it up again. I think he takes that on the line. 3 up sprint. No. Sanchez gets it. 0.15 of a second from Alalusa, from Brambati, from Mortek, from Pulaka, from Loxley, Holm, Gonzalez, Friedeck, Winfield, Edwards, and Vargas.
So those are the riders coming through in Category 5. We'll do the Category 6 ones very quickly. And Maxime Fabra taking the win from Simon Llewellyn in second, Mats Vinter in third. Then it was Brian Jose in fourth, Vladimir Toro in fifth, Pete Connell in sixth, Jeff Rooney in seventh, Drew Abbott in eighth, then Rune Nielsen in ninth, and Rennie Olsen in 10th. Full results on mywhoosh.com. Go to results. You'll pick up all of the results there. Category 6 and 5 in and over our finishing line. Category 4 leaders up the Paterberg. We're in with Rafael Amaro at the moment from France. Really been working hard today, and he's got the gap of 28 seconds to Brooke, with Yuan Yu Lin in third place. But Amaro's work done on that on the Quermont climb and then into the Paterberg climb, breaking that group, I think, realistically, with that climb of the Paterberg climb.
Yeah, he has indeed. And Amaro is going to be the first rider today who has the time to take a good look at that UCI banner and get up and out the saddle and tap a rhythm on this final climb of the day as he heads towards the finish line for the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. This is July. It's Qualifier 1. The men are in Belgium. It's a 45-kilometre course, and with the 450 metres to go, Amaro is still clear.
Well, if he can do this, this will be his second win. And he took his first win. Where was that? Right here in Belgium. So it's looking good. He clearly is suited to this course. He's been hovering around about the top 3 or 4 when he's not in there. Third place on the Ebel of Feet. Fourth place is on Paso Alto and on Alula. So happy climbing, but this is not a climber's course. This is an all-rounders course. And Amaro has shown he's got pace, he's got power, but he gets his timing right as well, because we didn't see him off the front in those early stages. He's done it where it counts.
Yeah, he has done indeed. And there's a huge pack of Category 4 riders about 25 seconds back. But that is not a problem for Rafael Amaro, because he is going to take his second win on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Cup, his second win in Belgium. That's the UCI banner. Rafael Amaro is the rider who's going to go through underneath the banner today, taking the win in Category 4. Well, the Category 4 pack, that is going to be one big sprint behind for second, third, fourth, and fifth. This is the Category 3 pack. It's a huge group. On the left-hand side of the screen, Timothy Brook is opening up the sprint and he's going to take second place. Mason Rocco, Juan Quires, James Harvey. That is going to be, well, it's been one big sprint for the minor places in Category 4. Amaro, followed by Brook, Rocco, Quiros, Dawson, Harvey, El Alami, Giuliano, Stevenson, and Moreno, the top 10 in Category 4. Well, Holweiler is going to want to be, I'm not going to say in the top 10, I think he's going to want to be in the top 5 in Category 3.
And in the time since Emma called that sprint in Category 4, we've already had another 18 riders go in after our leader, Amaro. It shows you just how close that was. It's looking close here on Category 3, but we have got a move going off the front in the shape of Alex Heaney. So Heaney is pushing on here. He's opened the gap going around the right-hand turn. That's it's a very interesting move, because you've still got a good distance to go.
1,000 meters to go.
Kirsnowski here for me is a rider who I think he knows this course inside out. Will it be his to take? It's such a difficult thing to call, but Heaney could have caught them napping.
Angarita, Carlson, Hansen. There's so many strong riders in that group behind.
Are we discounting Heaney's move as being brave, but ultimately doomed here?
Well, he's about to come into the climb. It's going to be interesting to see Mathias Kalman. Goodness me. Mathias Kalman has now decided to close the gap down. That is one big push. And the issue is you don't know who's kept their powder dry during the race and who's been following wheels and trying to save as much energy as possible. But the gap that Alex Heaney extended going into the base of the climb is being closed down by Mathias Kalman. David Goodall is there. Never discount a Goodall. That's what I say. Kirsnowski, Mundell, Holweiler. I tell you something, there's a few riders in here who can really unleash some power at the end of a race. Holweiler's up to 9 watts per kilo. Goodall's in here as well. Kalman's at the front, but David Goodall is coming. Alex Heaney is going backwards. Marvin Angarita is about to start riding. He's about to start kicking. Angarita's at 10 watts per kilo. Can he close David Goodall down? Kalman, Mundell, Angarita, Goodall. That's the banner line. They've got 150 meters to go. David Goodall, it's Marvin Angarita. Angarita's going to take this. I think he's going to come up and over the top. That is one fabulous kick from Marvin Angarita. He's going to take the win in Category 3. David Goodall's going to come through in second place. Oh, what a sprint. Daniel Mundell comes through in third. Che Holweiler in 4. Mathias Kalman in 5. Velez is in there as well. So is Kirsnowski. What a race.
Brilliant racing from our riders in all of our race categories, with a big sprint wins in there, big sprint attacks, as we see a really interesting mix here, because this is our Category 1 leading group joining, I think, our Category 2 leading group. I don't think there's anybody up the road in front in Category 2 or in Category 1, and we're going to get a really good look now at this run into the finish, because these two sets of riders are together as they make the way down here. This is we've got quite a run in to go till we get to the Paterberg. Whilst these two groups are just together, I mean, before we get an attack, so far in Belgium here today, we have seen groups come in and the timing being absolutely critical.
Yes.
When you race and you ride on MyWhoosh, that kick timing, knowing when to pace, when to push, is going to be key, isn't it?
It is indeed. And at the moment, we've got a push coming on in Category 1 here. Now, we've got X100 at the front of this group. He's anticipated Category 1 joining. He is a master of anticipation. So he's anticipated this move. Now, Hayden Pucker is really keen today. He is absolutely committed to this race. Michael Knudsen in the polka dot skin suit is at the front of the pack behind. But Pucker is the one dialing it at the moment. They're on the transition. They're 5K from the finish. This is the run towards the Paterberg. And they really are motoring here. Well, Pucker is really motoring here. He's taken up the mantle. X100 is leading the charge in the Category 2 race. Carlos Ramirez, Josel Betty, Mark Santo, Bruce Bird, Simon Walter, all in the mix in Category 2. It's a real mixed bunch here with the Category 1 riders intermingled.
They are, and it is just changing the makeup here. Chase coming on here from Osborne, but once he gets sort of back together again, he knows he doesn't want to go too hard, doesn't want to expend too much energy, because you've got to have something for that explosive kick that's going to be required when you go up onto the climbs, onto that Paterberg climb. Being left out the front here out to dry pretty much is not what you want when you've gone on the move, you've gone on the attack.
Well, it's a bit all or nothing, isn't it? You know, you've got, 4.2 kilometres to go, in it for the win.
Yeah, and we've seen, there have been plenty of races where Hayden Pucker has caught people napping. He's tried and tried and tried again, and he has eventually succeeded. A bit like the spider in the rub at the Bruce tail. He just keeps on going. He snaps. He keeps on going. He gets snaps. He keeps on going. But eventually, he gets it, and he nails a fantastic victory.
Ironically, the person kicking the most behind is X100 Category 2 rider, and he's now come back off the pace, and he's gone to the front, sat up. The rest of the riders are sat up. Hayden Pucker at the moment is 3-4 seconds down the road. It's not enough, but it really does depend on, everybody else is watching.
And Pucker's balancing, I think, how much power he puts and how much investment into this attack, and how much he then has left when he hits the climb. Because the climb, Pucker can sprint, he can put down some phenomenal power, and you could sprint up this climb.
But the issue is, he's out in the wind at the moment. He's pushing watts. The rest of these riders are sitting in this group taking as much reserve as possible. They are taking and saving as much energy as possible. They know the Paterberg is coming. They know the finish to this race is coming. They are banking on the fact that this group is going to go in together. I would expect the Category 1 riders to move clear of the Category 2 riders on the Paterberg. But will Hayden Pucker stay out? It's a brave move. Does fortune favour the brave rider today?
I would hope so, but I'm not going to. I don't think. For me, it favours the person who gets that run in absolutely spot on. Just taking a quick look, the Paterberg climb used to be a segment in its own right on the race. 400 meters long, 42 meters of ascent. Average gradient 10.5%. But what for me is telling is the rider who has the fastest time up there is the man that we saw in the sprints earlier, putting down 16 watts per kilo. Jasper Paradines. His time, 49 seconds. It's a 1 minute interval. And if there's one thing that we know that Hayden Pucker can do well, is smash some big watts for 1 minute. So this is a finish that really suits him. I mean,
look at him. He's at 9.4 watts per kilo at the moment. Hayden Pucker is absolutely dialing the Paterberg at the moment. He can kick out nearly 1,000 watts for a minute when we've seen him do that exercise on social media. He's done, 43 kilometres so far, but this is one big push. This is Hayden Pucker going for the win today. He's 7 seconds clear of Jason Osborne, and Jason Osborne has just kicked out 11 watts per kilo to try and close down Hayden Pucker. Hayden Pucker has got them worried at the moment. The gap now is coming down because Osborne is absolutely dialing it, but has Osborne gone too early? What has Pucker got left? Yasin and Wu are going with him, so's Knudsen, but Jason Osborne is the rider closing down Hayden Pucker at the moment. But credit to Pucker today. He has absolutely taken this race to Category 1. He has gone, I am out here and I am going for the win today. If you want to win, you have got to beat me. Jason Osborne is not yet on Hayden Pucker's wheel.
And even if he is, you've then got to Pucker Osborne sprint, because at the moment, Vujasin is sat 5 seconds down. The group have to decide, are they going to work? Are they going to invest? Come on, here goes Osborne over the top. Pucker has to answer this. He starts kicking at 7 watts per kilo. If these two riders work together, they could be sharing first and second. If they don't work together, they're not going to be getting that, because you can see behind the movies coming, and it's Lionel Vujasin coming. At the moment, he's got the gap closing. Well, it's coming down. It's not closed out yet, Pucker's coming onto the wheel of Osborne. You've got this long straight section to come.
God, he's
and
doing
this is the push.
560 watts at the moment, and he's not in the draft. He needs to get that number to turn green at the moment. He needs to close the gap down enough to Jason Osborne to take a form of break. Lanovu Yasin is the rider chasing, but Osborne and Pucker are going away. Is Osborne and Pucker the 1-2 in this race today? What can Vujasin, Wu, Knudsen, Vink do? Kaminsky is now at 13 seconds. He is out of this race for the win, but Jason Osborne and Hayden Pucker, these two are not out of the race for the win at the moment. Knudsen, Vujasin, Wu, Vink are all coming behind. There's 700 meters to go for the group. There's 550 meters to go for Osborne and Pucker. This is lining up to being a cracking finale today.
2-up sprint in the offing with a pursuit coming from behind. They've got to keep their head here as Osborne starts to kick at 9 watts per kilo. What's Pucker got left? They're on the top of the climb here. They'll go over the top. The group behind are on the way. Vujasin is at 9 watts per kilo, as are pretty much the entirety of that group. As Osborne starts to gap Pucker.
Well, Osborne starts to get Pucker, but Pucker starts to pick up the pace again. What has Pucker got left? Because this is 250 meters to the line, and Jason Osborne is absolutely kicking here for the line. This is for the win today. Hayden Pucker broke away from the Category 1 pack before we got to the Padenburg climb. He extended the gap. Jason Osborne was the only rider able to close down Hayden Pucker. He went over the top, and Osborne is going to take the win today on the July qualifier race number 1. But Hayden Pucker is going to take second place today. That was a brave ride from Pucker. Vujasin takes third. Wu takes fourth. What a race in Belgium.
It came down to who was brave, who was bold as Category 2 come in. SS in the mix here with Damsgaard. Damsgaard goes for the line. SS goes for the line. It's going to come down to the photo, and I think SS is going to take that. Now, just going to take a double check. SS taking it for the UAE clan team.
Tatu
Oh, he's
gone
over the top. So Koistonen took it on the sprint. 0.148 of a second separating Koistonen from SS. Van He behind him, and then Damsgaard going in and through. Absolutely brutal race finish there. The riders Osborne, Pucker, Vujasin, Vink, Wu, your top 5 in Category 1.
Oh, that was so exciting.
Lots more race action coming up on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Please do make sure you go on to mywhoosh.com as your results come in here on the standings. Osborne comes through with that win. And Emma.
Can I tell you, the top 6 riders broke the course record today.
I knew you were desperate to get some information over there.
So Jason Osborne takes the win in 60 minutes, 25 seconds. Hayden Pucker, 4 seconds back. Brave riding, and, well, he was rewarded today with second place on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Lanovu Yasin takes third. Vink takes fourth. Wu takes fifth. Knudsen takes sixth in that Category 1 race.
Category 2. Koistonen from SS from Van He as the results keep scrolling through. Do remember, mywhoosh.com, go to results, and then you can pick up the races as they're live and when they are complete. All the riders subject to the verification process across all of our race categories, as you'd expect from MyWhoosh. So do make sure you keep on there for the verified results.
I love Belgium. It's a great race course.
Does great chocolate too, but I would have to admit, even as a chocoholic, that the racing is even better. So do make sure you join us for qualifier race number 2. That's next Sunday. We'll be bringing you all of the action on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Please do subscribe, hit that button, join me, Matt Payne. You can follow me at Matt Fix Payne. You can follow Emma Martin here in the studio with me and out on the bike and racing on MyWhoosh at biking_Emma. Please do remember to give our riders a follow as well. It helps them in their racing careers more than you would ever imagine having a social media following. We will be back next week. Before then, download the app on iOS, on Android, on Windows. Jump on board MyWhoosh on races, on training programs, on the free riding section. In the meantime, we are going to recover. I will get a voice back, even more than I've managed to recover during the course of today's racing, and we'll be back next week. But from Emma, myself, and all of the amazing team who are behind the scenes, bringing you the action, stay safe. We'll see you again next week. Goodbye.